Hey, you bit Steve from that old Yorkshire geek, and welcome to episode 100. Yay! Should have party poppers and stuff going off, shouldn't it? Off Friday night, Appointment with Fear. We are on a Friday this week, and it's Friday the 13th as well. So there we go. So if you're on the ball, you'll have noticed that I've done a special Friday the 13th episode, which you can watch now. But that's not live, obviously. Pre-recorded, but that's on the channel as well. Win Grace is here. He says, isn't it demonic, don't you think? Yes, it is. It's got a demon in it. But it's not the film Demonic, which I think I've seen, and it's not very good. Anyway. And I replied, according to Billy Graham it is, because, you know, the evangelist Billy Graham said the Exorcist was evil in the very fibre of the movie, in the very film. And Wingray says, you can't argue with him, he makes a great cracker. I guess Billy Graham makes crackers, I don't know, but anyway. Anywho, oh yeah, Graham, is it Graham's? I don't know. You're Americans, I don't know your brand. Anywho, so we're doing The Exorcist from 1973, as you can guess from the scary. I hate that thing. It scares the pants off me. Anyway, we're doing The Exorcist from 1973, the classic film, directed by William Friedkin, based on the book by William Peter Blatty, who also wrote the screenplay and won an Oscar for it. Also won an Oscar for Best Sound. It was nominated for 10 Oscars, this movie. Anyway, starring Ellen Burstyn, Max von Sydow, however you pronounce it, who's not in it that much, to be completely honest. Lee Jacob, Kitty Wynn, Jack McGowran, Jason Miller, and Linda Blair. They're well down on the list, aren't they? And a few others as well. And music, famously music from Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells, features a little bit in it at the end, in the credits, and a little bit close to the beginning. Lalo Schifrin did an entire score for this movie, and apparently it was really good, and a lovely score. And when William Friedkin heard it, he just grabbed the tape that it were on. I think it was like a reel-to-reel tape, threw it out in the parking lot, and says that's garbage. So he ended up getting some fella in called Jack Nietzsche to do some of the score. And there's only 17 minutes of music in this film. The film goes on over 2 hours. Only 17 minutes of music in it, so I think Lalo Schifrin was probably a bit miffed, but I'm sure they still paid him, because it had a budget of $12 million. So back in 73, that was a pretty hefty sum, especially for a horror film. But people like William Peter Blatty and William Friedkin, it's not a horror film to them. It's a supernatural thriller. For some reason, they don't like the term horror, but it's a horror film, it is. Anyway, its box office was 441 million, so it did pretty well. And Owen Grace is educating me. Graham cracker is a type. It's what you used to make s'mores. Another thing that no idea. A s'mores like chocolate and marshmallow or something like that. I've no idea, because it's not a British thing. It's not a British thing. Our crackers, we have Ritz, Tuck, it's like Tuc, and cream crackers, like McVitie's cream crackers or own brand one. That's about it, really. There are others available, but they're the main ones. Right, so is that it? Right, anyway, before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. We're live on YouTube and Rumble and Twitch. I don't have to check, because I'll check again, just to make sure. Yes, we're live on YouTube and Rumble and Twitch. Yes, we are. And later on, I'll upload it to Spotify and Amazon Music podcasts. I've also got a Patreon page where you get early access stuff and exclusive stuff. I've also got a merch store. You can get t-shirts like this, and hats, caps, and mugs, and bags, and all sorts of stuff over on the merch store. And also, what else is there? Super thanks and super chats and stuff like that. Throw some money in my direction, because StreamYards are putting the prices up soon. So, so there we go. And what else? There's something else in there. Oh, memberships. Yes, I've started memberships. You may have noticed, if you're wanting to go in the chat, you can only join in the live chat if you're a member. I've got to try and find a way to stop trolls basically taking over the chat. Spamming the chat with like disgusting, vile things. They're evil. They're evil people taking pleasure in others, suffering. But I'm thinking, well, maybe just members only for the chat. I've been gifting memberships, so I've gifted a few memberships the last couple of days. But in YouTube, I don't understand why you can't give a specific person a gift membership. You can't go to their channel or whatever and, so gift this channel a membership. YouTube, pull your finger out, sort that out. Because I want to gift members that have been with me from the beginning. Anyway. Anywho, so there you go. So you have to be a member if you want to join in the chat. Like Windgrace is a member. He's telling me all about s'mores now. You put the marshmallow, well, I'll be damned, a marshmallow, in the fire, pull it out and sandwich it between 2 graham crackers with a piece of chocolate in the middle as well. I bet it's bloody awful. I bet it is. I bet it is. Like Hershey bars. Oh, I once had a Hershey bar. Not have another. I know there's different sorts. Maybe I picked the wrong one. Right, so let's get on with the film, shall we? As usual, not just be watching the film, because YouTube are good mental, and probably Rumble and Twitch as well are good mental as well. So we're watching in a series of stills. I've watched documentaries about this, and I've watched it with the William Friedkin commentary, which, rather than telling you how they made the film, it just kept telling us what we were looking at on screen. But never mind, it was more like an audio description rather than a commentary, but never mind. It was still interesting. Does anybody else think William Friedkin and Nicholas Meyer are the same person? I know they don't look much alike, a little bit, but very similar mannerisms. But anyway, Nicholas Meyer, obviously director of Star Trek 2 and Star Trek 6 and Time After Time and another film which I can't remember. Anyway, what else? We're getting on with the film, aren't we? Right, so make myself titchy tiny. Get rid of that. Pop myself down there. Spladosh. And, get the film ready. Get the film ready. Full screen, this bugger. Right, off we go. And add it to the stage. In glorious 1080p, apparently. And the Khan podcast, yes, and that as well. Nicholas Meyer, obviously. Anything else? I do have notes. I started making lots of notes, and then I give up because I thought I'll just be all night making notes. So I'll try and remember the stuff when we get to it. I probably won't. But one thing that's not in my notes, when we get to the film, La Plume de ma tante. I always thought that was something rude in French, and apparently it's not. It just means the quill of my aunt. But I don't even know, is that supposed to be rude? I have no idea. But anyway, maybe it's just a nonsense French phrase. I don't know, but anyway. Maybe it's over my head. Probably is. But we'll get there. Right, off we go. Let's begin. See if it's going to come on. You're coming on. Come on, film. You're coming on. Oh, we'll flip. We'll skip. There we go. On it comes. Right, off we go. We begin. This is the house. Windgrace is still going on about bloody graham crackers. The American graham biscuit is world famous. The best UK alternatives are plain digestive biscuit. Yes, and digestive biscuits are lovely. So is that what Graham ones are like? They're like digestives, are they? Because digestives are very nice, particularly chocolate digestives. They're very nice. A lot of people like rich teas. I'm not a big fan of rich teas. I think they're a bit bland, but whatever. Each to his own. Where were we? Right, this film, The Exorcist. We begin. This is the house in Washington, D.C., Georgetown to be precise. The McNeil residence. But more about that later. It's an opening shot. Apparently, this wasn't in the... by the way, we're watching the director's cut, the version you've never seen, whatever it's called. I think it's from around about 2000. So it's got extra scenes in it. And I think for the Blu-ray release. So this bit wasn't in the original cut. I don't know why I put it in. He said, did William Friedkin, it's just to show, where the battle will take place between good and evil. So in the McNeil house, and then, go in the church. So with this statue, which we see gets defiled later on. Right, a William Friedkin film. And it says, I better show it, Anta. There we go. William Peter Blatty's The Exorcist. Apparently there were a bit of a kerfuffle, maybe even a court case, I don't know. William Peter Blatty wanted equal billing with William Friedkin. And although they're like the good friends now, they did butt heads a lot for many years, but apparently they've ironed it all out and they're fine. But anywho, I think William Peter Blatty is a bit precious with his work. Aren't we all, I suppose? But I agree with William Friedkin in the decisions he's made for this film. Maybe we'll get to some. Right, we begin. Here we go. We're starting off in Iraq. Northern Iraq, to be precise. Here we go. Is it sunrise or sunset? It's probably sunrise. We're in northern Iraq, and we're seeing there's an archaeological dig going on. They're not looking for the Well of Souls. Wingrace is asking, have I read it? No, I've not. I've not read The Exorcist. Unfortunately. I've heard it's good. But I've not read it. I've not read The Omen either. And I don't know why, because I used to read a lot of horror when I was younger. And I don't know why I never got round to those two. I were more Graham Masterton and stuff like that, horror-wise. When I was younger, when I used to read stuff. I don't get time to read things now. It's weird. I don't know how people find time, this day and age, to read books and stuff. Because it just takes a long time. But I'm too busy doing other things. Anyway. Because I'm uncivilized. Right, anyway, where were we? Archaeological dig. It's in Mosul in northern Iraq, by the way. And they had to get special permission to go and film there. I don't know why they didn't just film it out in the desert somewhere in America. Build a couple of, ruins. They had a $12 million budget, for Christ's sake. But no, he wanted to go to Iraq to film it. And at the time... This is before Saddam Hussein came to power, by the way, but I think it was still a bit dodgy over there. And the US didn't have diplomatic relations with Iraq at the time, so they went through the British embassy. And it was the British embassy that essentially sorted it all out for them to go over and do some filming over there. So there we go. So, as I was saying, an archaeological dig in Mosul, in northern Iraq. They're not looking for the Well of Souls and the Ark of the Covenant. They're probably looking for the Stargate, because that's in Iraq, isn't it? Some say, if you're into conspiracy theories. But anyway, there we see him digging away and stuff. There we go, digging away with pickaxes. And we see some of the ruins. Apparently it's the ruins of Nineveh and other ruins, what we're looking at. But I think they're from, like, different times. They're not like all, like, Babylonian and stuff like 5,000 years ago and stuff. I think there are some later buildings and stuff. But anyway, so we see this kid. This kid's running through the dig, and there you go. And we see Max von Sydow there. Sydow. How do you pronounce it? I don't know. And he's telling him they found something at the base of the mound. So he's going to come and check it out. By the way, Max von Sydow were aged. I'm going to say Sydow because that's how I've always pronounced it. He was aged up for this film because Father Lancaster Merrin is supposed to be quite old in this. I don't know if it's like 60s, early 70s, something like that. But he's supposed to be knocking on a bit in years. And when Max von Sydow played him in this, we were only 44. So that to age him up, Dick Smith, famous makeup artist, that stippled his skin and put, the aging up stuff on him. And sometimes it looks pretty good, and sometimes, you can tell they've silvered his hair. Anyway, off he goes to see what they've found. Right, so here we go. Some interesting finds, we're told. Bits of pottery and stuff like that. No Baghdad batteries in here that I can see. But anyway, so the usual stuff. But then he has a rummage about in there. And he finds, there we go, here it is. There we go, pushes some part of a figurine, some sort of, a hideous face of some sort. This is supposed to be Pazuzu, the demon, who was a demon from though I think Babylon, somewhere like that. I should have looked it up, shouldn't I? And I forgot. But it's from those times. Back then, Pazuzu was a demon who brought plagues and locusts and stuff like that, and droughts and all that stuff. He was a demon of that ilk. So there we go. So he's seen that. So now we know that evil is afoot, apparently. Right. So then we're in some sort of bizarre people with tea and all that stuff. There he's. Oh, and he's taking his. We see. Is it this bit? There we go. Hang on. There we go. We see. Go on, show us. He's got a little. I forgot to mention. Yes, I forgot to. I'll go back again. Before he finds that. Here we go. Right, he finds. There we go. This is strange. If it shows us, it was not of the same period. It's going to show us. Oh, for Christ's sake! Go back again. There it is. I saw it then. There it is. St. Joseph medal, or whatever you want to call it. Pendant, little St. Joseph thing. So how did that get in there? Don't know. And he says it's not of the same period. It pops up again later, and I'm not exactly sure how. Maybe I missed it, I don't know. It ends up round the neck of somebody else. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe he had a similar one, I don't know. Or maybe it's supernatural forces at work. But anyway, he's found that in there, a St. Joseph medal. Then he finds the Pazuzu head, and then he has his tea, and he's taking his... he's going to show us. I've gone too far. Tell me, go back again. No, I didn't. I ain't gone too far. Come on, little fella. Here he is. Oh, for God's sake. There he is. He's taking his heart pills. There we go. Nitroglycerine tablets. He's taking them for his heart. Because he's supposed to be not well, his Father Merrin. But anyway, Wingrace says, in ancient Mesopotamian religion, Pazuzu is a personification of the southwestern wind and held kingship over Lilu wind demons. So there you go. We do see him. He's not named in this film. I don't know if he's named in the book, because I've not read it. But he's named in the second film, isn't he? Exorcist 2, The Heretic, which, it's not great, is it? It's not as bad as the people make it out to be, I don't think, but it's not a patch on this. And I don't know if it's even mentioned in Exorcist 3. I can't remember. Definitely mentioned in Exorcist the Beginning and Exorcist Dominion, which are essentially the same film, sort of. But anyway. Anywho, so he's taking his nitroglycerine tablets to stave off heart attacks. There he is. Right, then more pondering. Quite a bit of pondering in this. But off he goes. Is heading out to his offices. Here it is, isn't it? Is for the where there's the archaeological stuff that they're checking out, and apparently he's leaving. I think he's going back to America now. Maybe it's his health, I don't know, but he's going back to America. And this fella says, "I wish you could stay." And he's checking out. Oh, there we go. He's checking out the St. Joseph pendant, Sancti Joseph, Ora Pro something or other. Don't ask me. I don't read Latin, but. How did that get in there with all that ancient Mesopotamian stuff? Dunno. And there's the Pazuzu head. Anyway, it says he's got to leave. Oh, the clock stops. The clock just stops. He's going to show it. I think it actually stops at a funny angle as well. We can see it in the background there. And wait to see if... oh, there you go. It just stopped then. It hasn't stopped at straight down. It stopped at a peculiar angle, hasn't it, for some reason. At... 1 o'clock or 12, don't know. So is that evil forces at work? Probably. So maybe Pazuzu and, as we see later, Regan McNeil, they're already in the battle. Maybe. And of course he's fought Pazuzu before, which is probably why he's so interested in that head. If you've watched Dominion or Exorcist the Beginning. Anywho, so this fella's saying, I wish he didn't have to go, and he's saying, there's something I must do. So is he referring to this exorcism then? Does he know it's coming? I don't know. Because later on in the film, it tells us he's just come back and he's just writing a book. That's what we're told. So maybe he's just come back just to wait to be called upon for this exorcism. Maybe, I'm guessing. Anywho, so he bids goodbye to his friend. There we go. And off he goes. Some people praying. Heads down through this underground area that's full of cobblers for some reason. People mending and making shoes. Why they're all gathered in this underground area, I don't know. But they are. Apparently it's real. It's a real place. Heads down here. Again, genuine locations that we're in Iraq. Very picturesque and dusty. Rather than being, admiring the ancient architecture, I'm thinking it reminds me of like Call of Duty Modern Warfare. But anyway. I nearly gets run over here. He comes around this corner. There we go. We hear horse approaching. And then there we go. Nearly gets run over by an old biddy in a carriage. There she is. And apparently she's 109 years old, according to William Friedkin. And they made her do it 6 times. He says they knocked her about a bit. As you can see, she's like getting thrown about. And they made her do it 6 times. Nearly run over Father Merrin. But, because it's William Friedkin. It's nearly as bad as Kubrick, isn't it, for his number of takes, and he'll do anything to get the shot. A bit of a knobhead, to be completely honest, but anyway. Anywho, right, so I think he's found a Jeep now, or a Land Rover, or whatever it is. Looks like a Jeep, with a broken windscreen. I think we see a broken mirror later on in the film. But it doesn't dwell on it, so it could be wrong. It could just be a pattern on it. He's no Frakes. Who's no? I don't know. That's another one over my head. Anywho, Frakes is a director, isn't he? Is he one take Frakes or something? Is that I don't know. Or does he take lots of Frakes as takes? I don't know. Anyway. Right, so anyway, he gets out of his Jeep. He sees there go some guards come, and he just goes, it's only me. And then he heads round to this. We've seen lots of the old architecture. And then as he's looking, play this bit. Go back again. As he's looking there, there we go. It's like this shadow rises up. Rises up beside him. So did this statue just appear? Is it 2 takes Frakes? Right, 2 takes Frakes. Speaking of Jonathan Frakes, by the way, William Riker from TNG, who went on to become a director. He directed episodes of Star Trek and a couple of the Star Trek movies. He also directed the Thunderbirds movie. And I don't know what else he's directed apart from that. Windgrace will tell me in a minute. What was I saying? This shadow sort of like rises up. So I want to know, because as he's looking, hang on. We see that. So did that just rise up out of the ground? Because you'd have noticed it, wouldn't you? There's a huge statue of Pazuzu. Again, there's like the bringer of locusts, so I'm guessing that's why he's got these wings, like locust wings. So anyway, he climbs up the hill. This fella's watching. I don't know who he is. I think it's supposed to be like the version of good. We're going to see good and evil in this shot, or in this segment. So I think it's supposed to be like a personification of good. And then we see lots of dogs fighting. There we go, dogs fighting. And they're supposed to be affected by the evil spirit of Pazuzu. So that's where they're fighting. And we're hearing all the horrible noises. That's it. Won an Oscar for Best Sound, but I can't really do it, can I? There you go, stuff like that. Windgrace did a good amount of the Orville. Yes, he did. Yes, he did a good amount of the Orville as well, yes. He did. Shush. So there he goes and checks out the statue of Pazuzu. Remember, he found a miniature version of that head. And you see him with his hand up. I saw a description somewhere saying why he's doing this, and I've forgotten. And it's not in my notes. I wish I'd took more. I went to scroll then. I'm an idiot, aren't I? But anyway, never mind. So there we go. And as you can see, very phallic. I think that's supposed to be a snake, isn't it, coming out? But it's supposed to be a representation of his phallus, I suppose, because it's a demon. And as I said, the wings could represent, like, locust wings, or there could be something form of, fallen angel, that sort of thing. But it's kind of like butterfly, moth, locust, bug, insect wing motif. It does kind of get repeated quite a bit in this film. If you're looking in the background, there's like pictures of butterflies and patterns on doors and stuff like that. But we'll get to that. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it. So there we go. So Stan's watching that, and we dissolve to the sunrise, sunset, whatever. Then we cut to Washington D.C., Georgetown to be precise. Over on the left, we're seeing the university, the Jesuit University. According to William Friedkin, I know sod all about it. But as you can see there, if you see my mouse pointer, that's the McNeil residence, and there's the famous steps there. But we're going to be zooming in on that. There you go. Get a better look at it. There it is. The McNeil residence. But it's not there. They haven't bought the house. Apparently they're renting it. Because as we learned, Chris McNeil, Ellen Burstyn, is an actress. And she's in DC filming a movie. Wingris is telling us. And he came back to acting in A Bit More Christmas in 2023. Biltmore Christmas, sorry. After catching the bug again. In Picard Season 3, not PlayStation 3. You're welcome for the information that is irrelevant to this film. Yes, it is. Maybe not, though. Maybe there is a... there's got to be some Star Trek connection, aren't there, to Star Trek's everywhere, isn't it? Or Jonathan Frakes connection. We'll find one as we go in. Anyway, so there it is, the McNeil residence. Hang on. Right, and here, this is Chris McNeil, played by the lovely Ellen Burstyn. As you can see, she's looking through a script, her screenplay, making notes and stuff with a cigarette in her hand. And I think maybe it doesn't say it in the film. There's a lot goes unsaid in this film, but I think she might have stopped smoking, but I'm not entirely sure. So she's still got the cigarette. But we do see her smoking later on when it all kicks off. So she must fall off the wagon. But I'm just guessing. I could be wrong. She hears a noise. She's got the cig in her mouth. There we go. She hears that noise rattling. She hears rattling and scratching. So she goes to check it out. I'm just looking round, see if there's any there. She's got a nice big picture of Reagan McNeil, Linda Blair there. But anyway, so she's going to check out this noise. There she is. Here's a crash from above. There's something in the attic / loft. So there we go. It's not broken, is it? It's the pattern on it. That's that mirror we're on about. I thought, is it broken? And I thought, is it symbolic of bad luck and stuff like that? There's already a broken mirror in the house. But no, I think it's the pattern, isn't it? The design on it. Maybe it is broken. I don't know. Anyway, there you go. She's going to check on Reagan. As you can see, there we go. Leaves and stuff. There's a butterfly image somewhere. She's got some photos. I think that's supposed to be a dad. Chris and Reagan's dad are separated. I don't think they're divorced yet, but they're separated. Probably going through a divorce. And he's somewhere in Europe. Is it supposed to be Rome? But anyway, she's there in bed. And I think the window's open. And I think this is now... it's started. It probably started as soon as Father Merrin found that that little statue thing. Maybe that released Pazuzu from his prison, his earthly prison. The archaeologists. But anyway, see the window's open. She says, "Oh, it's freezing." So she closes the window. She covers up Reagan, gives her a kiss. Says, "I love you," and gives her a kiss. And then the next morning now, that's Willie, I think it's Willie. She's the housekeeper. Her husband, Carl, he's the butler, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. He acts like a butler. Anyway, they look after him. There we go. Saying good morning and all that. Because she's fantastically wealthy, I think. She's a famous actress. She's telling Carl about the noises. I think we've got rats, so buy some traps. And he's saying, "There's no traps. I've checked everywhere. It's all clean." And she just says, "Just buy the bloody traps." Because she can be a bit a bit pushy. Maybe it's because she's a famous actress, I don't know, but anyway. So, right, I think we're going to see him shooting the film now. Yes, we are, here we are, watching him shooting the film. The film's called Crash Course, and it was filmed at, I'll tell you, this was filmed at, in a minute, here we go, Healy Hall at Georgetown University. There we go. Right, so here we go. So, here's, I forgot his name already, Jack McGowan as Burke. Oh God, my bloody memory! I've watched this film twice today, for Christ's sake. Oh dear. Burke Dennings, yes, Burke, not Bert, Burke Dennings. He's the director of the movie. There he is. It's supposed to be British, played by an Irish actor, and is invariably exceedingly drunk. Anyway. Anywho, I think that's William Peter Blatty, that, isn't it? I think. Oh, let me have a look. Looks like him, doesn't it? Yes, I think that's William Peter Blatty. Probably with a false moustache on. Said, is this scene really essential? There's the, I think he's the assistant director, I think. I can't remember what he's called. I think that's him. Looks like Ethan Phillips there, doesn't it? But he's not. Anyway. So Chris comes out of her trailer and she's worried about something in the script, and he says, "Shall we call the writer? I think he's in Paris." And they all have a laugh. Shall we start with the writer? He's in Paris, I believe. And they all have a laugh. Oh, and then we get a first look at Damien Carris, Father Damien Carris, played by Jason Miller, whose son, whose name I've forgotten, it's not Miller, would go on to play Michael? I've forgotten. The lead in The Lost Boys, not Kiefer Sutherland, the other one. In The Lost Boys. I've forgotten his name. But anyway. So, ironically, that's it, he's the good guy in this film. He's got some I had glasses like that when I was a kid. Not when I was grown up. Call them National Health specs. He's got some as well. Anyway, they're all having a good laugh. But and what was I saying? Oh, right, ironically, he's called Damien Carris, and he's the good guy. A couple of years later, in 1976, the other big horror movie franchise of the 70s, The Omen, features another Damien as the Antichrist. Was that deliberate, do you think? I don't know, but anyway. The Neil Exorcist, yes, Neelix, is Ethan Phillips. Oh, cracky. And there's Tuvok, look. I know it's not. Anyway, they're all having a good laugh. They're watching the stuff going on. Don't know why he's there. I know why. He works there at the university, in the religious part of it. He's a psychiatrist. He's a psychiatrist for the priests. But we see him, anyway, doing that. So they're getting ready for her to do her scene. She's going in. She's playing a teacher at the university, and apparently they're going to pull a building down, and she's going to go in and do her acting. So there we go. And action, Chris. So in she goes. There you go. He's watching. I think it. Where is it? There we go. I think Burke Dennings. I think he's got the hots for Chris. And there's a suggestion that maybe they've had a fling or something like that at some point, or maybe he wants to, but she's not interested. It seems. There's also a suggestion that there's maybe something iffy going on between him and Reagan. How do you pronounce it? I've heard it pronounced that both ways in this film. I've heard people pronounce it Reagan. I've heard people pronounce it Regan. It's spelt Regan, Regan. I don't know, but anyway. It doesn't help when I've got a nephew, a great nephew, called people that spelt like Reagan, as in Ronald Reagan, but people keep saying it's Regan, I think. I don't know, and this is bloody relative, but anyway. Yes, Reagan, pew pew. Anywho, so she's going to do her acting. Here she goes. She's going to go barging through the crowd. Oh, as we're watching, we're seeing Father Carris walking away. Apparently, but a lot of the not all the time, but a lot of the times in this film, when we see Father Carris entering the shot, not all the time, but sometimes he's rising up, and William Friedkin kept saying he wanted to introduce Damien Karras as rising up into frame, as though he's like, a good force rising up to fight evil. But anyway, right. So, she's finished now. Oh, we hear somebody saying that's a wrap. So, right, she's finished. She's got a driver there saying she wants to walk home, so she gives a bag or whatever to a driver, that fella there, and she's going to walk home. This is where we hear Mike Oldfield's music. I'll do a little bit of it. Everybody knows Tubular Bells, don't they? In a minute. I've got to unmute it. Maybe I've muted it again. Oh, for Pete's sake. I've got the volume up. Oh, no, I haven't. There we go. There we go. Bet not playing about. But everybody knows Tubular Bells, don't they? The very first album from Virgin Records, by the way. Richard Branson's Virgin Records. Right, she's walking down this street in Georgetown. It kind of reminds me of the street where Rocky lives in. That's obviously in Philadelphia, isn't it? But where Rocky lives, kind of reminds me of that. I think it's with these steps leading up to these doors. Why are the houses raised up? I don't know. Does it flood? Anyway, she's seeing kids. There we go. In the trick or treating. So it's around Halloween time, spooky season. So it never twigged to me before that it's set around Halloween. So it's a Halloween film. There we go. She sees some nuns in their billowing robes, habits, whatever, wimples. Airplane approaching. Apparently, we never see it. I don't think. Anyway, she gets home, and that's her assistant Sharon, who is kind of the low-key, one of the low-key hero or heroine of the film, because she's kind of the rock for the entire family, really. But anyway, so she's sorting stuff out. So let's say she's her assistant. We learn that she's that famous. She's got an invitation to a dinner at the White House. So there you go. Then we meet Reagan. Here she is, telling her what they've done for today. They went down by the river, and then she rode a grey horse, and she thought it was amazing. So she wants a horse now. So anyway. So Mum says, well, when we're done, because we can't have one while we're in Washington. Apparently they did have a house in LA, but she sold it. She's building a new house somewhere. It doesn't say where. But so they're stuck there for the time being. So anyway, Reagan steals a cookie and runs off with it out of the pumpkin cookie jar. Just noticed. Doesn't tell us what sort of cookie it is, but apparently she's on a diet and she's not allowed cookies. 12-year-old kid, give her a bloody cookie, for Christ's sake. But there must be something up with it, I don't know, because it goes from 1 minute, this is this happy-go-lucky 12-year-old stealing cookies and having fun and laughing, riding horses, to telling her mum that her bed's shaking, then bang, she's in hospital for tests. But anyway, we'll get to that. There you go, they're having fun. Fun and games there. Right, next up, we're at the subway. We're actually in New York now. And here we're going to see Father Karras rising. Here he is, rising into frame, look. He's come to New York to see his mum, his mother, Mary. Because she lives in Hell's Kitchen. So maybe she's seen Daredevil in there. And Spider-Man? No, Spider-Man's from Queens, isn't he? Anyway. Alright, and while he's there, see this homeless man who says, can you help an old altar boy? I can't say it. I don't know. He's got a very distinctive voice. So I'll play this bit.
Could you help an old altar boy?
Help an old altar boy. But he's a homeless man. I don't know if he gives him any money or anything. It doesn't seem to. But we see the fella. We get a close up of him. I don't know why. I found him very striking. I don't know why. I'm thinking, he was obviously very handsome in his youth because he's got a good bone structure and all that. And he actually is a genuine homeless person, by the way, that they just found for the film. And they wanted him to redo some things later. and he had no memory. Cause probably drugs, not drugs, probably drunk or something like that when he did this. And he had no memory, and when he saw that the footage of him doing this, he thought it was in like an alternate universe. But anyway, and it just, I don't know, it just tells me that, you know, even if you're a handsome fella, we can end up in hard times and stuff like that. But anyway, right, so here he is in Hell's Kitchen, in Manhattan, and it's not the Twin Towers, is it, being built? Because that was being built around this time, wasn't it? Could it be? Maybe, I don't know. Anywho, Windgrace says they should team up with the old 49er from Times Arrow. Yes. Yep, an old 49er. That was in San Fran, wasn't it? Anyway, here is in Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan. Quite a rundown area. You know, people say Manhattan's, the richest real estate in America, and then it's got this like rundown area where you see kids, like I said, jumping on the cars, all the windows smashed and all that. It's the 70s, I suppose. I suppose pretty much everywhere in the world were kind of not very nice, was it? But anyway, so here he is going to check on his mum. So he lets himself in. He's got a key. We can see his door. There's a bloody bed there, right by the door to the apartment. And apparently that's his bed. Because I think it was supposed to be raised here. So he puts the light on, and there we go. We get to see. He used to be a boxer. See, he's won trophies and cups and stuff and all that. So, a prize-winning boxer. I presume that's him as a kid. We don't know who this is. William Friedkin said that perhaps she's like a love of his that he had to give up when he joined the priesthood. I don't know. Or maybe she passed away or something like that. Maybe that's what forced him to join the priesthood, his despair over that. I don't know, but apparently she's an ex-love. Anyway, takes off his dog collar, as you can see there, and pops it on the table. I couldn't remember what they called him. I had to look it up. I think, did they have a name for him? And apparently it's just dog collar. Anyway, he goes to check on his mum, and it mustn't have been for quite some time. Windgrace says it could have been a contender. Yes, with all them trophies. Could have been him fighting Rocky or Apollo Creed. Anyway, he's checking on her. Anyway, she's really happy to see him as his mum. There she is. There you go. Being all love. Calling him Dimmy, because his name's Damien, so she calls him Dimmy. So, Dimmy. And she's all stroking him and everything. She's really happy to see him. Anyway, there he's eating. And does it show him? Hang on, just a minute. It might be later. So he's having something to eat. There we go. His Uncle John visited, as she said, last month. So she doesn't get a lot of visitors, and it obviously means that he's not been there for at least a couple of months, probably, or at least a month, we'll say. So he doesn't get to see her, and he feels guilty about it later. Anyway, there's fixing the leg. She's got problems, probably veins, varicose veins or something like that, I don't know. But she's not supposed to be walking about, and he wants to put her somewhere where she'll be looked after, but she won't. She's like, this is my house, and nobody's going to take me out of it. So there we go. So anyway, alright, so he's leaving her now. She's made sure she's okay, so he's going back to the university. He leaves some money. He changes the radio. The radio's playing music, puts it to some Greek music, and leaves her some money. And off he goes, gives her a little kiss, and off he goes. Leaves her asleep in the chair. Then we're back with the McNeils. So it's like a switch, from this really poor family who have essentially nothing, living, a lonely life, and then we cut to that super rich, McNeil family. The one Windgrace has gifted a membership. Who got it? David Jarvis got that membership. Thank you very much, Windgrace. I wish it wasn't a random thing. But anyway, congratulations to David Jarvis. You're now a member. Anywho, right, so we're seeing she's made something. That's a bit phallic there, isn't it? Sorry. That's just my dirty mind. Anyway, she's made something. Here we go. Show us. Oh, for Pete's sake. There it is. She's made a little figure, which allegedly is supposed to be like Pazuzu. Pazuzu's influenced her to kind of make a mannequin of him. We'll see, particularly that beak with the spiral pattern on later. But I know it doesn't look exactly like the Pazuzu statue we saw, but it's supposed to be reminiscent of it, apparently. And I wanted to see it move by itself, not actually move, but between shots. Because I kept watching it because it's in the background, but they didn't, and I thought, well, that's a wasted opportunity. But anyway, I don't mean like move a lot, but just move a little bit to make you think, has that moved? But they didn't. There she is. So we learned that she does sculptures and stuff, because we learned that she makes little like clay animals and stuff like that, which is a clue for later. Anyway, Chris says, where did you find this? And out she pops out with a blooming Ouija board, of all things, complete with planchette. Says, where did this come from? He says she found it in the closet. Remember, it's a rented house, so whoever's been there has had it. Is it a Parker Brothers one? I don't know, but anywho. So she says, have you been playing with it? He says, yeah. So this could be another way that Pazuzu's found its way into this family. Is this... there we go. It moves by itself straight away. So that's not a good sign. I'd have said, right, put it away. Or, right, it's off in the bin. Or I'm going to burn it right now. That's what I'd have said. If I'd have seen that happen. But anyway, we learned that the whatever it is she's been in contact with calls itself Captain Howdy. So there we go. So there you can see in the background, there's the little thing she's made, and I wanted to see it move. Like I wanted to see, as it cuts to the close-ups of them, and when we cut back to this, I wanted to see it like facing us or something like that. Because a lot of people won't notice it, but never mind. But anyway, she doesn't get through to Captain Howdy. So at that time, right? So they're off. She puts her into bed, and yes, a birthday's coming up. Regan's presumed 13th birthday's coming up. I presume it's a 13th birthday. So she's wondering what to do. It's going to be on a Sunday, so she's saying, "What shall we do?" And she said, "Oh well, I don't know." But she says, "Well, we can see the sights of Washington DC and go see a movie and stuff like that." So she says, "Cool." And then she says, "You can bring Mr. Dennings if you want." So she's kind of saying that she's happy if her mum gets together with Mr. Dennings. It's just Woody from Toy Story. Yes, it probably does move when nobody's looking, or when everybody's gone, like the Toy Story toys. Are they all possessed? They're all possessed toys. Anyway. So that's where they're talking about doing stuff. And then, I love you. And then they're talking about Mr. Dennings and all that stuff. But I saw somewhere that the suggestion that maybe Mr. Burke Dennings kind of abuses Reagan, or maybe it were going to, and that's why what happens to him happens to. I don't know, but anyway. But she just says, her and Burke are just friends. So right, Damien Carris is in the bar with some very puce-looking beers there. But he's here with his friend, who I've forgotten the name of the character. He's played by Father Tom. Is it Tom Birmingham? Spelt differently to the town. Where are you? Oh yes, it's Father Tom Birmingham, but he's playing Tom. President of the university. Oh, he's actually playing himself, playing Reverend Thomas Birmingham. So there you go. There's also another priest in this. Hang on, no. He isn't playing himself. He's just playing Tom. We don't know his last name. It says as Reverend Thomas Birmingham. So no, that's how he's credited, isn't it? There's another actual priest, actor in this as well. William O'Malley plays Father Dyer. Right, so... But we haven't met him yet. Anyway, so he's talking to Tom, who's the president of the university, apparently, and whom Father Dyer steals some booze later. But anyway, he's talking to him, and he's essentially saying about his guilt about leaving his mother alone, and how, she's not well and all that. And said, I never should have left her. I thought, we'll go back to her then. But he's saying this to him, and he's thinking that he wants to leave, he's done, and he's lost his faith, or he's losing his faith. And I think he's wanting to, out of guilt, to go and live back with his mother and look after her, which is fair enough. So that's what's happening here. But then there's a psychiatrist. I said that earlier on, didn't we? And he's one of the best they've got. So there we go. So that's planted that seed that is losing his faith. Speaking of Tom, are you still watching Rings of Power? Yeah. I don't mind it, to be honest. It's rubbish, but I don't mind it. I don't, hate it with every fibre of my being like some people do. But it's not good. There we see. Got the old Ritter fan going, blowing the leaves because it's Halloweeny time. Maybe to show that something's up. We see that Chris is on the phone. She's trying to phone. Actually, no. Maybe she's 12. Maybe she was 11 before. She's 12 now. Is Reagan? She's on the phone. She's trying to get in touch with Reagan's dad. Who we learn is in Rome, the Excelsior Hotel. I think they call it the Excelsior Hotel in Rome, and he hasn't left him. He hasn't phoned or anything to his daughter, so she's cross about that. She's taking it out on the operator and kicking off, and she's not really swearing. But I think this is supposed to suggest this might be where Reagan gets some of her bad language from, but she's not really swearing. She's just saying Jesus Christ and stuff like that, which she does say a lot in this film. But there you go. So she's playing them with the operator. She said, they're not answering the phone. She says, it's a hotel. Ring them again. But anyway, so she's kicking off. So that's showing that, obviously, it's affecting Reagan. That she's sad about it. That her dad hasn't phoned her, and her mum's getting angry down the phone at some poor woman who's just doing a job. But anyway. Right, then the phone rings in the middle of the night. There you go, ringing. And it's Chris's call. Not call. What do they call it now? She's got to go in, whatever. She's got to go into work to do acting stuff. You know what I mean? And then we see that when she looks round, Reagan's there with her. He says, "What are you doing in here?" And this is where it's starting now. My bed was shaking. So there we go. And I'm guessing it wasn't like what we see later, where it's going coming off the ground. I'm wondering if it's just like shaking a bit. It's building up, in it, slowly. But for some reason, Chris thinks she's lying. We see later on when she's talking to her doctor, she says, what about the lies when she's saying the bed's shaking? Why do you think she's lying? Anyway, then she hears the noise again, the scratching and banging and stuff. I think it's supposed to be quite early in the morning, this, because as you can see, it's kind of twilighty, so maybe it's like 4 or 5 in the morning. What's up with you? Are you dreaming? Sorry, Princess Mickey just meowing. You alright, sweetheart? What are you doing? Just started meowing, she's lying there on the back of the couch. Bless her, she's probably having a dream. Anyway, I was just telling me to shut up, maybe. I'm trying to sleep. Anyway, where were we? I think it's still early in the morning, but like I say, she can hear the noises, so she's going to check the attic. Here she is. So she gets the pole and pulls the thing down. So up she goes. And then we see Reagan's awake, scraping. Anyway, up she goes. She lights a candle. No flashlights, torches, whatever. She lights a candle. Up she goes. That looks fake, doesn't it? That candle there. But when we see it again, it looks like a regular candle. I wonder why they're not using a regular candle there. It looks like a bloody stick of dynamite or something, doesn't it? But anyway, whatever. It looks like a normal candle there. maybe it was just the light, I don't know. But anyway, so up she goes, check out the attic. She's looking round, and I keep expecting seeing things in the background of scenes like this, but I didn't notice anything. There were a bit. Let's notice the rat traps. No rats in them. This is a bit. I don't know if I'll get to it. No, it's not yet. See, let's go back again. As she walks past this thing, there's like a weird. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's this way. Right. There's something on the wall. There. What's that? Supposed to be. I don't know. That there. It's kind of scary, isn't it? I don't know. Is it a cyclops? I don't know what it is. Is it just something, innocent? I don't know. But it's giving me the willies looking at it. I don't know what it is. It's in a weird light, in it. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Anyway, so she's looking. Sees more, empty rat traps. There's no rats. And she can still hear the scraping. And she looks round. And suddenly, the candle becomes a flaming torch all of a sudden. And she yells. Again, it looks like that. So it must be the same one she were holding earlier on. It must be like a special candle that goes... obviously. And she thinks nothing of it. It does that. And then she looks round and Carl's there. And she kind of blames him. She says, Carl, what do you think you're doing? What? I'd have been like... But anyway... and Tim Rose is here saying, thank you for the membership. You're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. Thank you for joining us. As I said, I just wish I could... I don't know why YouTube doesn't let you give memberships to specific people. I mean, you'd have been there, Tim. I'd have picked you regular. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, so there you go. No rats. Right, next day ish. I don't know. Sometimes there's big jumps in time, so you don't know if it's the next day or a week later. I don't know. But anyway, we see a priest or whatever is heading with some flowers into the church, and he comes in and he goes and he does his stuff. Pops some down by this statue, and then he looks round and sees this other one. There we go, being desecrated. I won't dwell on it, but it's I'll look again. Hang on, go back again. There we go. Kind of reminiscent, particularly the lower one, of the beak that were on the little sculpture that Reagan made. Anywho, right, so they're in hospital now. Reagan said the bed was shaking. The candle exploded, so now she's got Reagan in the hospital or a clinic or whatever, being checked over for some reason. I thought, crikey, that escalated quickly. Here she is, not being given injections and stuff like that. I think they've taken blood, haven't they? She seems fine there, but then in a bit, she kind of just turns. Anyway, actually, it is this bit. We get a first look at the demon. Here we are. They've got hooked up to a, I don't know, ECG, EEG, whatever. It says, are you okay? And then as we see Reagan, there she's just staring into space. We get his first look. I'll just play it. I hate that thing. But it's terrifying. By the way, that's Eileen Dietz plays the demon, the white-faced demon. She plays that. The white-faced demon. She also plays Reagan in a few shots. But we'll get to that. Right, so they've done some tests on her, and now she's starting to turn. She's starting to get nasty. Bad mouthing and stuff. Not swearing yet. She says, I don't feel anything, but says it with a tone. And then he wants to take a temperature, so she gets angry at him and says, I don't want to do that. So, and then she's kind of spaced out in the next scene. And maybe put it down to her being a preteen or whatever. She's just kind of being weird. And yeah, the doctor comes in, and he says, she's just got nerves, and it's all to do with, what she's going through with the divorce coming up, or whatever, and her dad not being around, and all that stuff. That's what he's saying. So he's going to put her on drugs, going to put her on Ritalin. So This is where she says, well, what about the lying and all that stuff? And he says, well, don't worry about it. There you go. Wait 2 or 3 weeks. And then he asks Chris, does Reagan swear at home? And she says, no, not at all. Oh, right, by the way, closes the door. And I noticed the wood pattern on the door. They're kind of like insect wings or something, aren't they? Probably just a coincidence. I'm reading too much into it. Anyway, so he says, what did she say? He says, she never swears at home, what did she say? And then he tells her, and it's, the C word. So he kind of giggles about it and says, oh, crikey, don't know where she got that sort of language from. But never mind. But anyway, so he's put her on Ritalin, and they're going to see how she goes. And obviously it doesn't help. So, right, then Father Carris and his uncle, John, I think it is being summoned as Father Carris because his mother's in hospital. She's not in hospital, she's in like, well, it's sort of a hospital. It's, I don't know, what would you call it? It's like not an asylum, but it's not far off, because the patients there, it's not a hospital where, she hasn't got Blue Cross by the look of it. That's what you've got over there, isn't it? Or whatever. I don't know. She's in a not very nice place. So anyway, they come to see her. So anyway, so he goes in, and there we go. They see some of the other patients. Here they are. Look, pawing at Father Carris. Anyway, so goes and she's all upset. Why have you let them put me here and all that stuff? So she doesn't want to know. And he says, I'm going to take you home. And I'm not sure if he does or not. He doesn't just yet, but there must be like another time jump, because we learn that when she dies, next time we hear about it, she's died, but they said she must have been at home then, and nobody'd been for a couple of days or something. She died, and they'd found her a couple of days later. So they must have let her back home from here. But anyway, or maybe it's just a mistake in the script. Maybe it's a goof. I don't know. But anyway, saying we can't put her in here, and he says, well, where are we going to put her? Some swanky hospital or whatever, because you're Americans and you don't have a bloody National Health Service to look after people. You haven't got the money. Christ, sorry. I got angry then. I mean, our National Health Service is not perfect, but it looks after you as best it can. Anyway, so they're saying, we're poor, we can't afford it, basically. There you go. Who got the money for that, dimmy? You. So then he's taking it out on punching bags. Remember, he used to be a boxer. Right. So there he is. Right, there's a big swanky party going on now at the McNeil residence, as you can see. Hang on. We see all like Rolls Royces and stuff arriving, or the Bentleys, I don't really know. But big swanky cars. So, it's some party that they're having. If we die, we die. Exactly. Anywho. So, there we go. And there's an astronaut at this party. There he is. There's an I forgot the name of I think it's in my notes. I forgot the name of the character, but he appears again, but played by a different actor. Just bear with me. So there's that many bloody notes. It's dead annoying to find, because they're all like random order. Just bear with me. It's here somewhere. I'm sure it is. Here we go. Although never mentioned by name, the character of Billy Cutshaw, the astronaut, Reagan says you're going to die up there, which we're coming up to that, is the same astronaut played by a different actor that appears in author-producer William Peter Blatty's other film, The Ninth Configuration, from 1980, which I've seen and I thought were crap. But anyway, that's by the by. And there's Denning, Burke Dennings, already drunk, saying, I've got pubic hair in my drink. He's already very drunk. Maybe that one. This is the astronaut. Maybe I thought that other fella. Or maybe he's later on in the party. I don't know. Maybe he's teleported. He looked like the same fella, didn't it? He's telling Father Dyer about being up in space and lots of room and stuff. And Father Dyer says he wants to go up there and be the first missionary to Mars. Meanwhile, Burke is picking on Carl, who he thinks is a Nazi. Says, who was it you work for? Goebbels or whatever. And he says, you Nazi bastard. And he said, I'm Swiss. All right, Chris is asking Father Dyer about Father Carris. You know, she's seen him a couple of times. She must have seen him. She might have seen him when they were filming, and then she saw him again. I think we missed that bit when she were walking home. I think that when we heard tubular bells, she saw him talking to another priest, and must have made an impression. But she says she's seen him quite a bit. So there we go. So they're saying he's our psychiatric counsellor. Burke's still picking on Carl. He actually uses a word here which gets used later. There you go, that one. Which gets used again later. So anyway, pushes him to his limit. There you go. Bloody damned butchering Nazi pig. So he says, that's enough, I'll kill you. So they end up fighting. Anyway, they pull them apart and they send Burke home. I think she wakes up here. Does her eyes open? Oh, she doesn't. I think Chris is checking on Reagan, saying, are you awake? And she says, kisses her. And I think the window were open again, wasn't it? Yes, the window's open again. So, you awake? Anyway, she kisses her. I don't know if she closes the window. Does she? No, it doesn't look like it. And then, obviously, she's awake. Right, so they're sending Burke home. He's very drunk. So off he goes. I think he was going to say something to Chris. Probably going to profess his love to her, but then he just says that instead. And off he goes. Right, so they're all singing round the piano with Father Dyer. As they're singing away, here she goes. Here she comes, there's Reagan. This way she says, you're going to die up there, to the astronaut. I can't remember what happens in the ninth configuration. Does he die in space? I can't remember. Anyway. I reckon he was one of the astronauts that went with Charlton Heston in the Planet of the Apes. He's one of them. So she says, you're going to die up there. And then she piddles. She wheezes herself. There you go. It's not showing it. I'll watch it out. We'll have a quick... There you go. Piddles. She wheezes. So she takes her away. So sorry she's been ill. And then next time we see her, she's in the bath. She says, why did you say that? But she doesn't answer. And so she tucks her up in bed. And I'm sure there's this scene. I don't know. There's some scenes. There's bits that have been added to this. Some of them are all right. And some of them are really goofy. And I thought there were one in this scene, but I didn't notice it. No. Never mind. I just want to go back and check. I thought there was a face appeared on the wall behind her. It might be later on. It might be, or it might not even be in it. It might be Mandela affecting it. No, I can't see it. Anyway, I might be thinking of that pattern. The butterflies again. But never mind. Anyway, so there you go. Take your pills and go to sleep. And then she goes downstairs and I see poor Willie's scrubbing the floor. And then suddenly we hear a crash. She said, Mum, Mummy, Mother. Well, it's called her Mother, doesn't she? Mother, Mother. And you see lights are flickering, which happens later. And she goes running in. She said, oh, my God. And this is where the famous bed bouncing about scene. So she jumps on the bed. That doesn't help. Then we're at the... I don't know where we're supposed to be here. It's somewhere in the university, but I don't know what it'd be called. The staff dormitory. I don't know. But Father Dyer's gone to see Carris with his bottle of Chivas Regal, which he stole from the president. So he stole it from Tom, by the sounds of it. So, we've learned that... I forgot to mention, back at the party, Father Dyer told Chris that his mother had died, that Damien's mother had died, so... and it'd been a couple of days since, she'd been dead a couple of days when they found her. So I don't know how much time's passed between her being in that hospital and her dying. I don't know. Has it been a few days? Has it been a couple of weeks? No idea. Anyways, obviously he's all guilty about it. There you go. It's all sad and stuff, which is understandable. So anyway, he puts him to bed and all that. And then we're going to have the nightmare scene. It's quite a famous scene in the film. He has a nightmare. Right. So first up we see, he has a nightmare, in the dream I mean. The St. Joseph medal. And I forgot to check, see if he's wearing it. He's wearing it at the end of the film. And I don't know why. But he sees it here in his dream. Obviously, same as what Father Merrin found in Iraq. And then he sees a dog, vicious dog like we saw in Iraq. So, is this the influence of Pazuzu, or is he just maybe psychic? I don't know. I think we've not to think too much about it. Then he sees his mum rising out of a subway thing. Her spirit going to heaven. But she comes out. And then she starts, he's looking at her, and that's an inaudible dialogue, he's calling out to her. And she's calling out to him, but she can't see him, and they can't hear each other. And then we have another flash frame in a minute. Maybe I've skipped over it. Yes, I think I have. I've got away with it. But we see Pazuzu again. There it is. It's very quick, isn't it? Very quick. I hate that thing. But I can't stop watching it. So anyway, then we see her going back down. She's been taken to hell by the demon. Don't know. But anyway, that's that. And then I think we see that again. Falling to the floor. There it is. And then screaming. Because Reagan's back in hospital again. Or the doctor's clinic or whatever it is. Want to do more tests on her. But she don't want it done. Obviously she's getting more violent now. And she's swearing and stuff. And they're giving her an injection of something. She spits in his face and calls him a naughty big boy word. Then Damien's doing mass at church and saying prayers and stuff like that. As you can see, the statue's been cleaned up, thankfully. Anyway, they don't know what's up, the doctors. They're baffled. They think it's something in the brain, but they don't know. They can't find anything wrong. So basically, we'll see what happens. Oh, and she's talking about the bed. The old bed was thumping and rising off the floor. She says, I was on it and it was still doing it. And then he just says, the problem with your daughter's not her bed, it's her brain. I thought, well, that's a bit of a dodge, isn't it? Just, never mind the bed bouncing off the floor. I can't deal with that. Anyway, there you go, there. So, I think they're going to do some more tests and stuff, because they think it might be a lesion on her brain. So, they're going to send her in for this horrible scene in the film, which we're going to get to here now. Where they're going to do some really painful tests and stuff, because it's the early 70s and it's all scary. So here we go. But even scarier in this scene is this fella on the left there. Let's give him get a good look at him. There he is. That fella, who's an actual nurse. I presume she's a nurse as well. But he is. I've got to get in my notes because I can't remember his name. Now, here we go. Oh, luckily I was just on it. The arteriogram scene. The bearded man who assists the doctor is Paul Bateson. This chap is Paul Bateson. He was an X-ray technician at New York University Medical Center, where that scene was shot, and managed to get that small part. In 1979, so 6 years later, he was convicted of the murder of a film critic and was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Obviously not a fan of the film, was he? However, he bragged about and was a suspect in the murders of 6 men whom he said he had picked up in gay bars, had sex with them, and then murdered and dismembered their bodies and put them in plastic bags for fun in 1977 and 1978. They were known as the Bag Murders. Although investigators believed his story, he was never officially charged, and those murders have technically never been solved. Bateson was released from prison in 2003. The whole story revolving the Bag Murders were later fictionalised in Cruising in 1980, which was also directed by William Friedkin. I didn't know that. Is that a coincidence, or is that deliberate? I don't know. It might be deliberate, mightn't it? It might have, after what happened to him in 1979, he might have thought, right, I'll make a film about that. So there you go. So a possible serial killer in this scene, which is terrifying. Anyway, Right, so they're going through all the motions of doing this stuff to Reagan, and it's very unpleasant. There we go. So they will putting needles and stuff in there. They're going to put some dye inside, and do the X-rays, and it'll show the dye and all that. And it's supposed to be really painful. There you go, showing it, doing that. So she's in pain, and there's blood squirting out and stuff because it's obviously in an artery. So I wouldn't be able to watch. I'd be crying my eyes out. I was nearly crying when Aidan were in, and Aidan's a grown man. When Aidan were in having his wisdom tooth out. That's what they were in doing last week. But anyway, so there we go. They're doing all this horrible stuff. Kind of reminds me of the Incredible Hulk series, Bill Bixby. But anyway, so they're taking the X-rays, and it's all horrible, and horrible noises and stuff. I don't know. It terrified me as well. Poor lass. Anyway, there we go. We're seeing the. There you go. Seeing that apparently there's nothing wrong. They can't find anything wrong. Here's another doctor. I'm going to show it. There we go. They can't find anything wrong. That's normal, apparently. Is that Linda Blair's brain? I don't know. But anyway. Probably not. So they don't know what's up. So we learn while they're talking, they get a phone call from Chris McNeil saying, come to the house immediately. So off they go. Why is that in German? Radio Anatomy du Rocker, or Rocher, however you pronounce it. What's that all about? Don't know. Anyway, so they rush over to the McNeil residence, and we learn that there you go. She's having spasms again. They've got violent, and she's added drugs that they've given her, Thorazine and Ritalin, and it's obviously not worked. And they go in, and that's happening. Bang, bang. She's being thrashed about, and apparently that line, it's burning, wasn't in the script because they've got her on a rig, a harness thing that's wrapped around her, and there's a fella behind the set, pulling her. And she's like pulling her down, and she's sprawling back up. And apparently something happened with the rig, and it must be rubbing or catching, doing something, and it hurt her, really hurt her. So that's why she says it's burning. But it's William Friedkin, so he keeps it in because he's a monster. But anyway, so that's happening, and then it's throwing her about. There you go, throwing her about now. So the doctors go over, and there you go. She smacks one of the doctors, sends him flying. This is where we hear the voice now in demonic voice. Keep away, the sow is mine. And it's where we hear the voice of Mercedes McCambridge, veteran actor of the golden years of Hollywood. I've got notes about this as well, probably. That I won't be able to find. Where is it? About what she had to go through, Mercedes McCambridge. Or what she chose to go through. Speaking of... Oh, we'll do that at the end. I'll read that at the end if I don't forget. Where the hell is it? Bear with me. Come on, Mercedes, where are you? By the way, despite the studio's fears that the Motion Picture Association of America, as it was then, it's just MPA now, isn't it, would give the film an X rating, it got an R, with no cuts whatsoever. The MPA's decision, according to William Friedkin, was that it was a brilliant, intelligent film that deserved to be seen by a wider audience. Regardless, many American cities, such as Washington, D.C., where it was filmed, and Boston chose to disregard the decision and gave it an X. It was an X over here anyway in the UK, but anyway. Where are you, Mercedes? Just bear with me. No, that's something else. Speaking of Mercedes McCambridge, she had to sue Warner Brothers for credit as the voice of the demon. William Friedkin said that originally she didn't want a credit, saying that she wanted the audience to believe the voice was Reagan's. However, after it was released and was a massive success, she changed her mind and was given the credit. But before that... here we go. Actress Mercedes McCambridge, who provided the voice of the demon, insisted on swallowing raw eggs and chain smoking to alter her vocalisations. The actress, who had problems with alcohol abuse in the past, furthermore wanted to drink whiskey, as she knew alcohol would distort her voice even more, and created the crazed state of mind of the character. As she was giving up sobriety, she insisted that her priest be present to counsel her during the recording process. At William Friedkin's direction, McCambridge was also bound to a chair with pieces of a torn sheet at her neck, arms, wrists, legs and feet to get a more realistic sound of the demon struggling against its restraints. I tell you, he's a monster. McCambridge later recalled the experience as one of horrific rage, while Friedkin admitted that her performance, as well as the extremes which the actress put herself through to gain authenticity, terrified the director. So there you go. Tell you, Friedkin, a flaming monster. Right, where were we? I'll go back. Let's say, hear the voice. Am I on? There we go. Oops.
Keep away! The sow is mine!
There we go. That's the voice of Mercedes McCambridge. Can't really play some of the other stuff she says. But, like in a minute. She throws herself about again. Hang on, she does... there you go, she says that. I'm guessing that bit there, I'm guessing that's not Linda Blair. I'm guessing that's probably Eileen Dietz. Doing that sort of motion. Because remember, Linda Blair only I think she was 13. I think she was 13 and 14 when this was filmed. I bet that's Eileen Dietz. Who were a grown woman, obviously. So there we see all this, she's acting like a possessed person. So they giving her an injection to calm her down. There we go. Oh, I forgot to mute it again, didn't I? So they give her a sedative. So obviously they're all very concerned. But as doctors, they're wanting to do more tests and another spinal, he says. So she's like, crikey, what do we have to go through? So, they're going to get her in hospital again. Here we are, look, another hospital thing. More pain for poor Reagan. There she is, look. And they can't find anything wrong. They don't know what's going on. So it's getting worse and worse. They want to turn it up to 11. Yes, they should. Because he's got to 11. Dear. So let's say they're baffled. The medics are baffled, and he's asking. By the way, while she's saying that, he's asking, "Do you have drugs in the house? As in recreational drugs?" She's saying no. She doesn't even smoke grass. So he doesn't know. They're baffled. So she's going home. Oh, right. So she gets home, and the lights are flickering like that. So she comes in. So there we got one of the added bits that I think looks crap. I think this was a William Peter Blatty thing. I want this putting in. Here we go. Here I did. I have to go through this a frame at a time. When the light flickers back on, you see Pazuzu behind her, reflected in the cooking hob cover, whatever you tell it called. Here it comes. When the light comes back on. For Pete's sake, how long is it going to be? How long is it going to be? See if... Oh, for crying out loud. Doing me head in. See, I bloody missed it. There it is, look. That looks terrible, doesn't it? It's like superimposed. Stick that over the top of it. They could have made it a bit, not quite as solid. They could have made it like see-through and transparent. So you can barely see it. If it would, really wanted it in. It's just a goofy effect. I think it takes it away. They shouldn't have had it. It should have had a sound effect or something instead. Or have something whispering or something like that. Or just add that really faint, so it's barely visible. So you're thinking, did I just see that? you want things like that, not a bloody stupid superimposed face. Anyway, right. So anyway, she goes in. There's nobody in the house, by the way. Actually, by the way, I forgot to mention. I'll go back out. As she drives round, hang on, gone too far. There we go. She sees there's a commotion at the foot of the stairs by her house. There's an ambulance there and all stuff and police and something's happened. Right. So she carries on, goes home, sees the stupid superimposed face. Well, she doesn't see it, but we do. And there's nobody there. Sharon's supposed to be there, by the way, looking after Reagan, but she's not there. So anyway, so it goes to check on Reagan. Reagan's asleep, heavily sedated as usual, windows wide open. She's like, Christ. So she goes and shuts, because she says that a lot. She goes and shuts the window. Maybe it's this bit where there's a... No, because we've just seen one, haven't we? It's not there, is it? No. I'm sure there's a scene where you see a face in the wall. I know we see one in the curtains later on, near the end. But anyway, whatever. Maybe I'm Mandela affecting it. So she closes the window. She covers up Reagan. And so she's cross. And then, there you go. She comes in, does Sharon. She says, what do you think you're doing? You're supposed to be looking after Reagan. And she says, well, didn't he tell you? And she said, who, what? She said, Burke. She had to go to the store to get Thorazine. Don't know why they didn't have any, but anyway. So she had Burke stay with Reagan. And he said, I should have known better, because he's always drunk and stuff. And he said, yes, you should. And then the doorbell rings. And it's, hang on. The doorbell rings, here it is. Chuck, that's the fella, Chuck. He's the assistant director. And he says, I suppose you've heard. And he says, what you on about? So, you haven't heard. Burke Dennings is dead. They said he must have been drunk and he's fallen down the steps just outside. Broken his neck. So she's all sad about that. So he goes. There you go. Just comforts her and then buggers off. And then, here we go. And then before she's got chance to mourn, she looks up. And this is a scene that was originally cut out of the movie. This famous spider walk scene. There's two versions of it, isn't there? I think the original version, she comes down the steps, flips over, and she's got like a pointed tongue, not a forked tongue, she's got a pointed tongue. But she comes out, doing that. I can't do it because I've got a stupid tongue, but she does that. And she chases her mother across the room and all that stuff. And they have a little wrestling thing, like they had at the beginning of the film, that were happy when she stole the cookie. But they've changed it. They've filmed another version with the actress. It's not Linda Blair playing her going down the stairs. It's another actress. I've forgotten the name, sorry. Like a gymnast, doing... this. Anyway, she comes down the stairs. Doing this. It kind of looks goofy. I wish they'd just not bothered with it, to be completely honest. They should have just left it out, but she comes down the stairs and there we go, she's doing that. You can tell it's not Linda Blair. She had to hold her breath, so she didn't breathe in the blood that's coming out of her mouth. There you go. So she's freaking out about that. Right. They're going to hypnotise her now to find out what's going on in her brain. All the machinery's not worked, so now they're doing hypnotism. So she gets hypnotised. Here we go. There's another effect coming up as well in this that I think they shouldn't have put in. It wasn't in the original, but we'll get there. So he's asking her, she's hypnotised now. Someone inside you. She says sometimes. He says, is it Captain Howdy? I think she says, I don't know. So there you go. So he's speaking to whoever's in Reagan now. And then, hang on. As he's speaking, Reagan's picture falls off the mantelpiece. There we go. Spontaneously, luckily onto cushions. Obviously, maybe William Friedkin, multiple takes. They didn't want to break it, did they? Because they probably had a million takes of that picture frame falling. Anyway, then we see that she starts growling and she's breathing out something. It's supposed to be foul smelling. I bet it's like rotten eggs and stuff like that. There's actually one of my notes. Hang on, where are we? If I can bloody find it. Because they're not in any order. Where is it? Where is it? Bear with me. By the way, the homeless man we saw earlier on. There we go. I didn't realise I had it in my notes. The man who asks Father Karras for change, old altar boy, was named Vincent Russell. He was a real drunk who had been found in a bar. Months later, they had to hunt him down to re-record his lines. He didn't remember anything, and when he saw himself on the screen appearing again and again in a loop, he thought he was in an alternate universe. Anyway. By the way, as well, the true identity of the boy whose supposed possession inspired the novel was revealed in late 2021. His real name was Ronald Edwin Hunkler, who grew to be a successful NASA engineer who patented a technology to help space shuttles withstand extreme heat. It's obviously the thermal tiles, I suppose. He never discussed his experiences and always feared exposure. He passed away in 2020, just before his 86th birthday. The debate over whether it was a genuine possession or mental illness continues, however. But anyway, right. When Reagan gave the doctor a good hiding just now that we just seen in the previous scene, that was Eileen Dietz playing Reagan then, and not Linda Blair. Anyway, makeup artist Dick Smith once asked Linda Blair during the filming how she felt having to swear for the film. Because, like I say, she's only a kid. She replied, "Oh, it's not me, it's Reagan." You'd think, I don't know, because a couple of times it's her that's saying the swear words. But you'd think that, because she's not saying it for the. She must say it on the set, and they replaced the voice, didn't they, with Mercedes McCambridge. Actually, she did say the words, and they spent like months and months fiddling with Linda Blair's voice to try and make it sound, evil and stuff like that. But they couldn't get it right, so they ended up just overdubbing her. But anywho, right, where were we? What am I looking for? I've forgotten. Yes, just remembered the foul-smelling stuff. Here we go. Director William Friedkin once brought rotten meat and eggs on the set to create the foul smell of the demon. Some members of the crew got sick and ran to the bathroom to throw up. An upset Ellen Burstyn reportedly asked him where he wanted her to throw up if she got sick. There you go. Tell you, he'll do anything for the shot. He's a monster. Anywho. Shall I do a... No, I've done enough, haven't I? Never mind. Right, so she's doing this, she's making it stink horrible, some sort of, probably sulphurous as well, because it's a demon and all that, and they're all like, oh, good blimey. Anyway, so he comes over, does the hypnotist, psychiatrist, whatever, and this is where we see the other effect that they didn't need to have. This kind of CG'd or superimposed, there you go, the demon face over her. It was unnecessary. Anyway, she grabs him by the crotch. There we go. And goes down to the ground with him. And there we go. This shot was inspired by Psycho. When, what's his face? Oh, I forgot the name now. Name of the actor. When he gets stabbed in the face by Mrs. Bates and he goes down the stairs. That's what this is. Kind of recreated. There you go. Like that. But he didn't get stabbed in the face there, did he? What's the name of that bloody actor now? Never mind. So they grabbed her off. There we go, and restrain her again. Right. So then we're at the Georgetown University again. Is that an observatory or something? I don't know. Is it just a building with a dome? I don't know. But anyway, we see Father Karras is out running. This is where we're introduced to Lieutenant Kinderman, played by Lee J. Cobb. There he is. So he goes and introduces himself. He says, are you Father Karras? Says, have we met? Says, no, but they said, I'd know you when I saw you. You look like a boxer. And he says, you look like, there you go, John Garfield. So he's telling him about what's happened, and he's asking, what do you know about witchcraft? Because he's trying to connect what happened in the church to the statue, the desecration in the church, to what's happened with Burke Denning somehow. Because the way he died, it's not quite. It's not as though he just died falling down the stairs. We learn that his head were turned, 180 degrees completely back to front, which must be something, an occult thing. I don't know, but and they said it didn't happen. It probably didn't happen in the fall. So he obviously had his neck broken or whatever, his head twisted round, and then he was suggesting he was thrown down the stairs. Dead already probably. So he's trying to connect. He wonders if there's a connection between the two, and he's wondering if there's a priest that did it. So I'm wondering, the desecration of the church, did Reagan do that, to the statue? Or did it just happen supernaturally? Or did Reagan go and do it? Did she sneak out and do it when nobody were looking? Don't know. Doesn't tell us. That's what he's telling him all about, the occult and stuff like that. And could it be, like I say, as a sick priest? And Damon's suggesting, he doesn't think so, to be completely honest. But he couldn't tell him anyway, patient confidentiality and all that. But anyway, they kind of build up a friendship, and this is where we learn that he likes to go watching movies. So he's inviting Father Karras to go watch a movie with him. I don't think he does. And he's saying he's going to see Othello with Debbie Reynolds and Groucho Marx. Is he just making that up? Is there a version of Othello with Debbie Reynolds and Groucho Marx? I've no idea. Because he says there's another one later on with Wuthering Heights with Lucille Ball as Kathy and somebody else as Heathcliff, but I've forgotten. Anyway, so, but they've not made any headway essentially. Right, so she's in hospital again, done more tests. They don't know what's going on. There you go, they're calling it somnambular possession. And you can see she's starting to get scratches and stuff on her. They did lots of tests, makeup tests of what she was going to look like when she was possessed. And some of them, she looked like a witch and stuff like that. And they thought, William Friedkin said, it was his idea. I don't know if it was or not. But she should, she shouldn't physically transform because of the possession, because of the demon being in her. What happens to her should be of her own doing, so she scratched her own face and stuff like that. That's and they're becoming all sore and infected and stuff like that, and that's why she's changing. I know her eyes change and that, don't they? They're a different colour. It goes all Sith. But anywho, so they're baffled. There you go. All the doctors are there. They don't know, and they end up suggesting, an exorcism is what they end up doing. After Chris gets all hysterical with them. But there you go, they're talking about doing an exorcism. But obviously they're thinking, it's not actually an exorcism of an actual demon. They're thinking it's all psychological. And if somebody believes that they're possessed, an exorcism, going through the ritual exorcism, they'll also believe that will work. That's how they're thinking about it. So they're going to send her to the church, essentially. But now they're taking Reagan back home. She's heavily sedated again. This Father Kingdom, and looking at the stairs. Hang on, have I missed a bit? Because he finds something. Is it whoever he finds it? Looking up the stairs where Burke Denning fell down. No, it's not yet. So she's got her in bed. She finds a crucifix. Somebody's put a crucifix under the pillow. And we don't know how it got there. Because she asks everybody in the house, Carl and Willie and Sharon, and they all deny putting it there. So who put it there? Did Reagan put it there herself? Don't know. Back at the bottom of the stairs. He finds something. Looks down, because he's a detective. He finds a little, little clay or whatever animal. So he thinks, that's curious. So obviously pockets that or whatever. Anyway, there she's asking everybody, who put this in Reagan's room, and everybody's denying it. There you go, he's checking out the... yes, I forgot to mention, didn't I? Going checking out the house. There we go, we're getting a look at it now. At the top of the stairs. The actual house, I forgot to mention, you probably know. The actual house itself is quite away from the top of those stairs. steps, and they actually built quite a big extension onto the house, probably out of wood and stuff like that, good old Hollywood magic, to bring it closer to the steps. And I think they put essentially another level on the house as well. The actual house doesn't have this green roof part, so they actually brought the Reagan's bedroom essentially to the top of the steps. So that's not there anymore. If you go to the actual house in Washington DC, Georgetown, whatever, it doesn't look like that anymore. It's quite a way back from the steps. The Hitchcock steps, they used to be called, and now they're called the Exorcist steps. Apparently. Anyway, right, so he's obviously got his suspicions about what's happened. He's looking up at Reagan's bedroom window, thinking, oh, right. Thinking angles. He's probably doing a beautiful mind thing, thinking angles and stuff. Anyway, there she's asking Sharon about it. She doesn't know. And she asks Willie. Willie doesn't know. So, anyway, knock at the door, or doorbell, whatever, and it's Lieutenant Kinderman. He's asking about, the night that Burke Denning was there before his death. And, wondering if Reagan would remember anything, but, she says she wouldn't, she's very ill and all that, and there you go, she's heavily sedated. So, he's curious about it, so he's just wondering what's going on, and he wants to know what Reagan might remember. Not talking about the rock band there, but anyway. There he goes asking about, did anybody else call at the house? And as far as she knows, nobody called. There were no visitors, no packages. He says Carl takes care of all that anyway. But as far as she knows, there were nobody else in the house, apart from Sharon, who were there, and then Burke Denning. But then he left through the bloody window. But they're not saying that yet. Anyway, so she says, do you want another coffee? And she's expecting him to say, no, I'll get off now. And he says, yes, please. She's got to go make it herself. And then he notices these little clay sculptures of animals, like the one he saw at the bottom of the stairs. How did did Burke Denning pick one up? Did he have it? I don't know. But anyway, doesn't tell us. But he's saying, did your daughter make these? Yes. So he's curious about that. So anyway, then he asks for her autograph. He says, I feel awkward asking, can I have your autograph? It's for my daughter. He says, oh yes, of course. What's your daughter's name? And he goes, I lied, it's for me. So he's got her autograph, because he's obviously a movie buff, isn't he? Anyway, so off he goes, and it'll come back when Reagan's feeling better. So obviously she's still upset. Then all hell breaks loose upstairs. You'd have thought Kinderman would have heard it, wouldn't you? But there's lots of crashing. She goes running up. There you go, and there's bloody poltergeist, isn't it? Like the poltergeist scene in the room. But everything's been thrown about. And this is the famous onanism scene. There you go, doing that. Not bother showing that. She's using the crucifix that we saw earlier in a way it was not meant to be used, we'll say. I actually remember when I was a kid, because I was only, when did this come out? 73. So I was only 6. But I remember my brother, who's older than me, he went to see it with his mates, and I remember him coming home and telling me mum all about it, and I thought, and you're going into graphic detail with my mum. I didn't really. It's obviously stuck in my mind, him telling my mum about this, but about this scene. But not swearing, because we never swore in front of my mum, but describing it in graphic detail, but without using profanities. Anyway, there you go. She grabs the struggle for the crucifix. Says, "Give it to me," and then she grabs Chris's head and shoves it in her crotch. Thusly, as you can see what's been happening, and then she gives her a backhander or whatever and knocks her flying across the room. There we go. And in this scene, she was actually really hurt. I think she had some spinal injury, not like disabling, but I think she had like back pain for the rest of her life or whatever. Because she was in a harness. Rather than just her throw herself across the room, they had to like pull her across the room in this harness. And they did it, a couple of times, and she was fine. And then I think Ellen Burstyn said to William Friedkin, "Look, I can't do this anymore. Can we just not do this?" And he said, "Oh, we'll do it just one more take." And then last take, he told the chap that were pulling her, I forgot his name now, but said, really give it to her this time, and he did, and she hurt herself. So the scream of agony that she gives out there is an actual scream of agony because she was really hurt and she wasn't happy about it. Anyway, then there's poltergeist activity going on, stuff's moving about. Look, there you go, that comes across the room. It's been suggested that all the stuff we see is not actually, that's things moving by themselves, and what happens with Reagan in a bit is not actually real. It's a demonic. Sorry, I look round there. The cat, the demonic, like an impression that's putting in your mind. It's not really happening, but I don't know. Maybe it could be. I don't know. Make up your own mind. Here we go. This is the famous head turning scene. This is obviously to remind us of what happened to Burke Denning. There you go. The head turns round. Obviously a cool dummy. And then she uses that word. Hang on. There you go. The word that Burke Denning used, and it's Burke Denning's voice we're hearing as well. So you know what she did, the daughter. So basically confessing to killing Burke Denning, twisting his head round and throwing him out the window. There we go. Terrifying stuff. Anyway, here he comes, rising up to save the day. Here he is, Father Karras. Going to meet Chris McNeil on this bridge. It's got a name. It says bridge scene somewhere. By the way, the bar scenes that we saw earlier on were in the Tombs, a bar called the Tombs in Georgetown. The hospital is the Bellevue Hospital in New York City. The church is the Holy Trinity Church. And what else? Oh, where we saw the desecration were in the Dahlgren Chapel at Georgetown University. What am I looking for? Bridge scene. Chesapeake and Ohio Canal in Georgetown. That's where we are here now. Chesapeake and Ohio Canal. And all the interiors of the McNeil residence. Actually, they didn't film it in the house. It was on a studio at Seco Studios, now called Camera Mart, in New York. So there we go. So that's where all the interiors were done. Right. So he's going to meet Chris McNeil, and right. So he's going to talk, and she doesn't know. She's telling him that the doctors don't know what to do and all that, and he's saying, well, she says, can you do an exorcism? Because my daughter's possessed, essentially. So he says, well, they don't do it anymore. You'd have to go back to the 16th century. Oh, like it says there. It's just not a thing they do anymore. But we've learned that they do, don't they? Apparently it's all popular now, is possession. I've got weird ears, I've just noticed. Father Karras' ears, little tiny lug holes, look. That's weird. How bizarre. Being a boxer, you'd think he'd have cauliflower ears, wouldn't you? But anyway. So he's saying, it's not that easy getting an exorcism done. They've got the tests they've got to do and all that, and they've got to be so many things that I forgot the bloody word, but anyway. So many tests of, to show that somebody is possessed by a demon, and then they've got to get permission from, the diocese or whatever. And anyway, so she's all upset, and then he's saying, I could see your daughter as a psychiatrist, and then she said, not a psychiatrist, she needs a priest. There you go. But she's desolate, is poor Chris. So then she's crying and on his shoulder. So he's decided he's going to go see her. So here he comes. He's going to go and see Reagan. So here we go. As you can see, the house now, I've noticed since the possession, I think the house started, it was kind of lit in warm colours, wasn't it? But as it's going on, it's getting more cool colours, isn't it? Anyway, when he goes, this is where we see that she's now strapped down. So obviously, you know, I don't know how long has gone. Weeks, I don't know, but she's strapped down and she's being fed intravenously, and then he goes, she's been vomiting down herself. And I think in the book, not that I've read it, but I've seen it described somewhere that she wears nappies and stuff, you know, because she defecates herself and all that. So it probably stinks in that room, to be honest. Probably smells like my room. You can see the scratches and all that are getting worse. But she's now speaking full Mercedes McCambridge voice. Is this where she says the a lovely day for an exorcism, or is that later?
Hello, Reagan.
She's not saying anything, is she?
I'm afraid.
Anyway, never mind. Ow.
The straps.
There you go. She asks him to take the straps off, and he says, if you're the devil, because she says, you know, he says, where's Reagan? And she says, you know, she's in here with us. And then he says, well, who are you? And he says, I'm the devil. So if you're the devil, can't you make the straps disappear? And he says, that'd be too vulgar a show of power. So, right, fair enough. It's where she... so the pea soup scene's coming up now. So, it's talking to her. Here we go. Pea soup scene. And when she did that, hang on, Mercedes McCambridge did something for this. If I can bloody find it. By the way, Jason Miller were nominated for an Oscar, by the way, for Best Supporting Actor. And I think Ellen Burstyn was as well. And Linda Blair nominated for Best Supporting Actors. I think Ellen Burstyn might have been nominated for Best Actress. I could be wrong. Hang on, let me check. Come on, bloody hell. Where is it? Down here somewhere. There we go. Right. Nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, Ellen Burstyn, Best Supporting Actor, Jason Miller, Best Supporting Actress, Linda Blair, Best Screenplay, William Peter Blatterwich, it won. Best Adapted Screenplay. Nominated for Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, Best Film Editing, and Best Sound, and it won for that. Right. Anyway, we're looking for that thing, wasn't I? What she did. By the way, Ellen Burstyn fractured her coccyx in that when she was pulled, when Reagan gave her a good slap and she was pulled back. She fractured her coccyx. The contortionist, I'm going back again, the contortionist, Anne Miles, was hired to perform the famous spider walk scene. Miss Miles was able to perform the scene by use of a harness and flying wires hung above the staircase used on the set. And also she had to hold her breath so the blood didn't go down her nose. Well, anyway, where were we? Come on, Mercedes. Where is it? By the way, Max von Sydow claimed that he had difficulty finding work after the film as his makeup was so realistic. Most people thought he really was that old. I'd say we're only 44. We'll talk about the curse of the Exorcist later. Martin Balsam, that was the fellow in Psycho that recreated the look on his face. Anyway, well, I'm looking for this, aren't I? I can't find it. I've seen it before and I've bloody lost it. We're live, who cares? I've seen it. Here we go, found it. Mercedes McCambridge regurgitated on a mixture of chewed mushy apple and raw egg to produce the sound effect of Reagan's projectile vomiting. You'd have thought they'd just got a Foley crew to do that, wouldn't you? But anyway, never mind. There you go, the famous... oh, by the way, that's Eileen Dietz, not Linda Blair, doing that. There we go. Back to Linda Blair again. So he's having his clothes washed now and ironed. He's looking at some of the drawings, kind of scary drawings and weird drawings. That's some sort of Mesopotamian, beast, from mythology. Don't know. Anyway, she was speaking in French. This way she said le plume de ma tante thing and all that. Speaking in languages that maybe she does know. And then he's saying she's not saying, she doesn't say she's a demon. She says she's the devil, which is like saying you're Napoleon Bonaparte. People in the loony bin. But anyway, there you go. What she needs is 6 months in the best hospital you can find. And she said, no, we've tried all this. You tell me that an exorcism will do no good. So then he asks, because Reagan had said, the demon, Pazuzu had said to him that your mother's in here with us as well. And it also did the altar boy fella, the homeless man, did his voice as well, which obviously Reagan wouldn't know about, because she wasn't even present there, was she? She didn't know anything about his mother, and he's asking her here, did she know that my mother had died? Chris knew, but Reagan didn't know, so there's no way she could know about it. So anyway, off he goes. And then we see Kinderman staking out the joint. Anyway, now he's listening to somehow, I don't know how, but somehow he's got some tapes. Obviously, Chris must have given him these tapes that Reagan made for her dad. I don't know why, but it's just showing him listening to these. So he knows what Reagan's voice is really like. I think it's I don't think they need this scene, but it's just showing that he's gone to the sound department of the university to listen to these tapes of. She's doing a message for her dad and saying, hello, Dad, and I don't know what to say and all that stuff. But anyway, right, he's back at church doing some more religious stuff, the Holy Sacrament and all that, with the wafer and the wine. That's what he's doing. And I think it's kind of bolstering his faith a little bit. Because remember, he was losing his faith, and now he's thinking that he's going to have to get it back to save this girl. Right, so is this? It's back at. There we go. Back at Reagan's with the famous line.
Exorcism.
Oh, missed it.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
It's great voice, isn't it? Anyway. So he's brought a tape recorder, look, there you go, he's brought a tape recorder. He's going to record what the demon says. So he goes and sits down, then makes the drawer open. Did you do that? And he goes, huh? This might be the La Plume de Maton bit, but he closes the drawer and says, do it again. He says, in time. But right, so speaking in Latin, and then he says the La Plume de Maton thing. He laughs about it. Is it? Yeah, speaks in French. And then he gets some holy water out. He says, this is holy water, and he, does the thing on the, and she writhes about in pain, it burns, and then we learn that it's not holy water, it's tap water, but that's coming up later. She's going to, he's listening to the voices. There's all different voices coming out of Reagan, and weird, guttural sounds and all that stuff. So he's recorded that. Anyway, we hear Chris is on the phone to somebody. We never hear who she's on the phone to. Is it her husband? I don't think so. But she's telling her, is it her mother? I don't know. She's just on the phone to somebody. But we don't know who. So he's going to have a little chat. There we go. A scotch he's going to have. He's going to... tells her about the demon thought that tap water were holy water. He says that doesn't bode well for an actual exorcism. But anyway. And then she says that Reagan killed Burke Denning. There you go. She pushed him out of her window. Anyway, then he goes back to the university and he's listening to the recording that he made, the weird sounds. Hang on, we'll have a listen. And he thinks it's like a foreign language, but he says it's a language, all right. It's English, but backwards. So they play it backwards. And to press right button. No, I didn't. Oh, for God's sake, what have I done? There we go. Hang on, I've done it there as well. Where's all that gone? There we go. Ooh, I mean, everything what did I do then? I pressed the button. Everything disappeared. That was weird. What am I like? Right, so it says it's English backwards. So it's where it listens to it and she actually calls out Merrin's name and says, "Fear the priest," and stuff like that. There you go. Give us time. Let her die. And said calls out Merrin. And they go, "I am no one" as well. That's another. And then as he's listening, another famous scene. Another jump scare. There you go. To make you jump. Made me jump when I was watching it. In actually making the film, when they shot this scene, it wasn't a phone ringing that made him jump. It was bloody William Friedkin with a shotgun or a rifle or whatever, but a gun of some sort. Just fired it off by Jason Miller's ear. He wasn't happy about it, I'll tell you that. But he got the required reaction. I tell you, William Friedkin, mental. Anyway, phone's ringing, and it's Sharon at the McNeil house. She says, "Come over quickly." So, by the way, that it says Merrin there. That's where we can. It's still got the tape playing. Whew. Crikey, right. So it goes running over. Look, should have the bloody Rocky theme, shouldn't they play them? Anyway, Sharon comes out. She leads him upstairs, and they go. Apparently, according to William Friedkin, Chris is sedated as well. He probably needs a good night's sleep. So I don't want Chris to see this. So I don't know. I'll say this when we see what we see. So she takes a ring, she puts a coat on. This might be the first refrigerated scene. I can't remember. Oh, maybe not. I can't remember. When we were in before with her, could we see the breath? I don't remember. But they can definitely see the breath now. So I said, famously, the set was refrigerated. And sometimes they come in and like there'd be snow over everything on the set because of the moisture in the air. But anyway. So Reagan's sedated and moaning and stuff. But she... how did she see this? I've no idea. Was she giving her a bed bath or something? I don't know. But she opens up her pyjamas and then we see, obviously, a fake body, but, whatever. But as we're watching, the words "help me" appear. So did they appear before and then disappear? I don't know. It doesn't tell us, does it? How did she see them? Like I said, was she giving her a bed bath, sponge bath or something? I don't know, but... Anyway, there you go. You see the words. He's shocked. We hear some scary music. They go, "Help me!" That's obviously Reagan from within. I think this is what's given him the impetus to go to the diocese, the bishop or whatever, to do an exorcism. Obviously, that's not something you see every day, is it? Right, so off he goes to see whoever that is. I don't know who it's supposed to be. Does it say? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the cast list. Who we got? Father Dyer, Tom, president of the university. Who else is there? Jesuit dean. That must be him. The dean, maybe. I don't know. Oh, no, it's here. Bishop. Oh, it is, yes. Bishop Michael. So he's the bishop. Played by Wallace Rooney. Guess he's not related to Wayne. Anyway, so he's asking him, do you think, she really is possessed? He says, I don't know, I says, you really believe she's possessed? He says, well, I don't know. Not really, I suppose. But she does meet all the criteria for possession. And he'd want to do the exorcism himself. And then the bishop says, maybe we should have somebody who's dealt with this sort of thing before. Maybe somebody who's been overseas. So he says, well, I'll let you know. I'll think about it. So off he goes. So he gets Tom Birmingham in and asks who they could have. And he says, he could be there to assist. Could Scaris. And he asks, well, who do you suggest? And Tom says, about Lancaster Merrin. He's just come back from overseas. He's been back for 4 months. There you go, working on another book and waiting. He's waiting to be called into action, isn't he? That's what he's doing. Because he asks about his health. He's not too old, is he? And he asks about his health. And Tom says he must be all right. He's still running around digging up tombs and taking bloody nitroglycerin. What happens if you jump about? Do you explode? I don't know, but anyway. So that's what they're going to do, right? We see he's out for a walk in the woods, and somebody runs up with a message. So obviously he knows now he's got to go and save the day. As he gets that and reads the letter, we fade. So is it going to show it? There we go. We fade to the demon knows that he's coming, because the demon wants him to come because he called his name earlier. And then we get the famous scene. I was watching this and I thought, did they wait for a foggy night, or is it fake fog? Did they just make the whole area foggy? Because you never know, do you? A foggy night's common in Washington, D.C. I have no idea. Sorry, a fingernail just broke. Do you want it? I'll pop it there. Here we go, the famous scene. Here we go, the taxi's dropping off. There he is. Max von Sydow, whatever. In a apparently inspired by a Magritte painting. Actually, that's in my notes. If I can find it. If I can find it. Where is it? Got it here somewhere. Why don't I just search for Magritte? Find. Oh, I cannot find. Oh, well, it must be there somewhere. Oh, God, I don't bloody know. Oh, by the way, in the scene where the words "help me" arise out of Regan's torso, the effect was achieved by constructing a foam latex replica of actress Linda Blair's belly, complete with ribs, writing the words out with a paintbrush and cleaning fluid, then filming the words as they formed from the chemical reaction. Special effects artist Dick Smith then heated the forming blisters with a blow dryer, causing them to deflate. When the film was run backwards, it appeared as though words were rising out of young Regan's skin in an attempt to summon intervention. So there we go. Right, it's bloody painting. Here we go. One of the most famous scenes in the movie. This one, wherever we are. And the shot used for the posters was inspired by the 1953-54 series of paintings Empire of Light, L'Empire des Lumières, by René Magritte. It is the scene where Father Merrin steps out of a cab and all that stuff. So look it up. Empire of Light. I've seen the painting. It doesn't look much like this to me, but never mind. It's got a light in it, a street light, and a house, and that's about it. But anyway, it's a famous scene. As I said, did they wait for a foggy night, or did they create a foggy night? Anyway, so here he is. He's arriving. He's arriving. There we go. I'm Father Merrin. And he arrives, and he just wants to get on with it. Father Karras says, do you want to know the background to the case? All the information he's got. He says, no, why? I'm here to do an exorcism. I don't need information. So he tells him he wants to go across to the residence and get the equipment he needs, bell, book and candle and all that stuff. There you go. Copy of the Roman ritual, the large one. So he's off to do that. Sharon's listening to the radio, and there's all the noises from upstairs of Regan moaning and making noises. So she ends up just putting headphones in because she can't stand it anymore. If I were her, I'd have been out of there. She must be being paid well by Chris. But Anyway, he's waiting for Damien to come back. So she gives him I think it's coffee. She says, "Do you want a brandy in it?" He says, "I shouldn't do, but yeah." So he's going to have a coffee and brandy to build up his courage. Damien's coming back, look. Right, so they're getting ready for the exorcism now. We're getting near the end of the film. The actual exorcism is like 15 minutes or something like that. It's, doesn't last long at all, maybe 20. So we'll learn what they've got to do. Basically, don't listen to the demon. It'll lie to you. It'll try and provoke you and stuff like that. Ignore it. Even though it'll mix truth with the lies, just don't respond to it. And but anyway, there he goes. It might be helpful. I gave you some of the background. Says no, doesn't need to know anything. The only thing he needs to know is Reagan's middle name, which is Teresa. So off we go. There you go. He asks her, "What's Reagan's middle name?" Says Teresa. Says, "What a lovely name." Because apparently it helps in an exorcism. Apparently, if you know somebody's middle name and the demon doesn't know somebody's middle name or something, I don't know, it stops the demon being as possessive or something. I don't know, but anyway, so here we go. There she is. Look, not looking well. So they're getting ready. There you go, and then she starts. She starts with her profanities, but they was using the actual holy water now. Be silent! And all that stuff. And they start going through the ritual. Father Merrin, says one part of it, and then there's a response from Father Karras. And, alright, then she's going to spit at him now. Blah! There we go. That kind of reminds me of... in Gremlins, when Stripe spits at pardon me, spits at Gizmo. But anyway, Windgrace says, "I know lots of people without middle names. They're screwed." Yeah, I am. I ain't got a middle name. In fact, of my brothers and sisters, none of them have got middle names apart from one of my sisters. She's got a middle name, so she's fine. But the rest of us, we're all going to be possessed. Anyway, by the way, he's not, he doesn't stop, he carries on, even though he's got a big greenie on his glasses. Yeah, Stripe, you got it right. So they're doing the Lord's Prayer, the Catholic Lord's Prayer. The Protestant Lord's Prayer is miles better, but never mind. So they're doing all that, and she's, moaning and all that stuff. And said, Linda Blair's an amazing young actress, to be completely honest, to do all this. Really, impressive. Another famous line. What did it say? It's famous, isn't it, that line, that for what they replaced it with on TV, and I forgot what it was now. I can't remember. Your mother cooks frocks in hell or something like that. I don't know. Then the bed starts banging about in a bit. There you go. There it goes. Starts banging about and rises up off the floor, and off it goes. And that distracts Father Karras, and he doesn't say the response, but it does eventually. But they're carrying on. There you go, still screaming at him. I think we see the demon again in a bit. I'm going the wrong way. I'm going the wrong bloody way. That might be later. So they're carrying on. Back to Eileen Dietz again, because we see he gets his what I don't know what they call it. That purple thing he's got stole. I don't know, but he's using that because it's obviously blessed. And you pressing that up against her, and she starts doing the old pea soup coming out of her mouth again. And this is Eileen Dietz again. You can see it looks nothing like Linda Blair, because apparently I think it made her ill. I think Linda Blair, something about pea soup or something, made her ill. So they've got Eileen Dietz in for some of the shots on this. And there she is. Look, all the pea soup coming out, and they've got to go. Gives it to wash got to wash that, and he takes his glasses as well and washes his glasses as well. So they're having a moment. Reagan's laughing, curtains are flapping. It kind of reminds me of a story, an actual ghost story from my family. Years and years ago, when I was a kid, I wasn't there. This isn't a story I were present for, but my sister was. They had a friend of my brother staying overnight at my sister's, because my brother used to live with my sister and her husband and kids. And his friend was staying overnight, and he slept on the couch. And so I'm getting the chills now. He slept on the couch, and he woke up in the middle of the night with this weird, could hear this weird whispery, slightly metallic note, a bit like sounding like a radio that was slightly out of tune. So, could hear that, and all the curtains were flapping about like that, and he never stayed there again. Anyway, back to this. Now I've scared myself to death. I'm going to carry on with the exorcism, and he starts doing his "I condemn you, I will cast you out, unclean spirit," and all that stuff. Alright, then it's more swearing at him. Can't use that word. And there you go. By the way, it's made the big cracks appear in the ceiling, as you can see. Then doing the name of the Father, and it's gonna be the levitation scene in a bit. I forgot about that. Yes, the head spinning scene. Forgot about that. There we go. So as they're watching, I don't know why she's doing this. Is it real? Is it real? But or is it just is it their imagination? Is the demon making them see things that aren't real? Because it'd break a neck, wouldn't it? In real life, if you know what I mean. I know it's a horror film, but I mean, is the demon making them? Making them see things that aren't happening. Anyway, full 360. There we go. Cool dummy. It is a cool dummy. They drove it about in a taxi cab. I made it spin its head. Everybody was screaming, apparently. And then it makes the whole house shake. Either the whole house or just that room, I don't know. But it all shakes and throws them to the ground and all that stuff. And then he starts screaming. The demon starts screaming at Caris that, you killed your mother, you left her alone to die. And shut up. And then the eyes are going to come out now. There we go. The levitation is going to happen. The restraints rip. It starts levitating. She goes. There we go. And if that's going to prove to you that deep possession is a real thing, then probably that's it, isn't it? By the way, she's up on wires, and I don't know if they're being taken out. Cause there's like obviously the Blu-ray version. I don't know if they've painted them out digitally or what, I don't know, but in the actual film they were actually the thing that they did to make it so that you couldn't see the wires. They didn't just paint them the same colour as the background. They actually painted them like a light colour and a dark colour, so that your eye didn't see them as much. Windgrace says, sorry, that was me. I was just passing through because he's a hyperdimensional mega being in my sister's house, I presume. Just make sure we're still going, by the way, and I've got copyright strikes. No, I aren't. I'm doing well there. And we're still going on Rumble, I think, maybe. Are we? Fingers crossed, yeah. And we're still going on Twitch. Yes, we are. Right. So she's levitating. This is the power of Christ compels you, and all that stuff. And they're doing the holy water and stuff. And I forgot about the sound effects. But she head twists around and stuff like that. They got a fella in from Mexico. Didn't they have any English American fellas that could have done it? But anyway, they got I forgot his name. It's in my notes. Gustavo or something like that. Just bear with me. And by the way, to entertain and distract Linda Blair during the long makeup process she had to sit through, the crew set up a television near her makeup chair where she would often watch I Love Lucy, The Beverly Hillbillies and The Flying Nun. Makeup artist Dick Smith would later recall in an interview, "Oh, how I learned to hate The Flying Nun." Never seen it. By the way, the shooting schedule was supposed to be 85 days, but ended up being 224, tell you. Unbelievable. Anyway, where were we? I forgot what we're looking for now. The Mexican chap. Here we go. Gonzalo Gavira was called on to create many of the special sound effects after William Friedkin recalled his world from El Topo from 1970. One of the more memorable sounds, the 360-degree turning of Reagan's head, I can't pronounce it both ways, was actually made by taking his old cracked leather wallet and twisting it back and forth against the microphone to make that crackling sound. I haven't got a wallet to demonstrate, but never mind. So that's how he did a lot of, didn't have like a normal Foley artist that could have done it, but anyway. There's another one that is obviously just somebody going, whoosh. Is it going to show it? See if we can catch it. Here we go. This one here. You can actually see there where it's going to come off. Obviously this was done, it's doing the holy water and it's supposed to be causing, scratches or welts or whatever on her skin. But you see, they're just going to pull off a bit of fake skin out of it. Hang on. I forgot the sound effect. Hang on. There we go. That's just somebody going, in it. Oh dear. A Mick Foley artist. Yes, he would, and he'd be there saying, I'm Mick Foley artist. I'm here in Georgetown, Washington, D.C. Hang on, you can't see me. For the cheap pop. Anyway, never mind. I bloody muted you. There we go. Power of Christ compels you. And I just think of Austin Powers, is in the chair, is Dr. Evil, and it's out of control. I need a young priest and an old priest. Anyway. So they're doing that, and she goes back down again, and in Dana Barrett style, except she doesn't spin round, does she? But, so goes to tie her up again. Don't tie her back down. Look, it just ties her hands and it's tying her feet. By the way, she struggled with, Linda Blair struggled with the contact lenses. They had to put numbing agents in her eyes, because she struggled with them with pain and stuff. I think the yellow ones were the worst. I think the white ones that went fully over her eyes, she said they weren't too bad. But she had to have numbing agents in her eyes. So she went through the bloody wars, didn't she, for this film? Anyway. Where are we? There we go. So he's doing her feet, tying her feet, and then she sits up and gives him a good old double-handed Kirk type of belt to the back. But he's carrying on. The blood of the martyrs commands you. Father, the Father commands you. God, the Holy Spirit commands you, and all that. And see, it's all kicking off again, look. They're all getting thrown to the ground. And then we see that, we see Pazuzu appear behind, or the statue of Pazuzu appear behind another famous scene. I don't know if that's Linda Blair or Eileen Dietz or somebody else, I've no idea. Wingrace says, I can't even handle eye drops at the eye doc. I couldn't do contacts. No, I couldn't. My eyes are super sensitive. Just a bit of wind sets my eyes off watering. Terrible. I can't even do, when they test your eyes and they blow that air into your eye to test the pressure in your eye. I hate that. I can't even do that. I tell them, I'll blink. I'm telling you, I'll blink. They said, oh, it's all right. Everybody does. Anyway. I've got very sensitive eyes. Anyway, so there we see that. Right, so he's carrying on. He's finishing off the bit that they're on. He covers her up. And he says, are you tired? And he goes, yeah. And anyway, they're having a breather now. Says, we'll have a rest and then we'll carry on. So this is a scene that were reinstated, that were taken out originally. It's just a scene of them resting on the stairs. And he's asking, why this girl? Why did he choose this girl? And Father Merrin says he thinks that it's just to make him despair, to show that the demon is trying to prove to us that humans were just animals, we're lower than low and base. We're base. So that's what it's all about. Yeah, but the emphasis is on despair, because that's what demons want in it. They want people to be unhappy, essentially. He's taking one of his nitroglycerine tablets. Father Karras goes back in to check on Regan and sees his mother sitting there. So obviously, it's just an illusion. There you go. And she's lying there panting now. We're basic. How rude. Oh, it's a base. I think I said base. I meant base. As in, the lowest of the low. But we could be basic as well. Or maybe Fortran or Cobol. Anyway, she's panting away is Regan. So she's all sweating, so he's gonna wipe her down. And then she starts speaking in his mother's voice. There we go, saying Dimmy. His mother's accent as well. Anyway, he gets his stethoscope out. Because he's a doctor. And checking the heart rate. Apparently her heart's racing. And he tells her, it's her heart. He said, can't you give her anything? He says, no, she's going to a coma. And then she starts speaking his mother's voice again. And he freaks out. He says, you're not my mother. There you go. And, she's... his mother's voice is getting to him, basically. And Father Merrin says, Damien, get out. So he does. He leaves. Rather than say, no, I can take it, he actually goes. He probably feels guilty. Because if he hadn't have gone, what happens now might not have happened. But anyway, we'll see. So anyway, Father Merrin's going to do the next bit by himself, whatever that is. Anyway, but we don't see what happens. We see him just preparing. He gets his holy water out again. And he just kneels down. We hear a growling and all that. Kneels down, gets ready. Starts saying the Lord's Prayer again. Then we see Damien with his head in his hands. Praying maybe. I don't know. And then Chris comes out. And she says, is it over? And he says, no. And she says, is she going to die? And then he looks at her. There you go. And goes, no. And then there should be music playing. Swelling music as he gets up. Shouldn't there? But he just gets up. And goes back upstairs because he's rising up, look. Rising to save the day. Anyway. So he goes in. And not expecting to find what he finds because Father Merrin's dead. And Regan somehow, her bonds have been freed. But Father Merrin's there, is dead. And I think he's just passed away. I think he's just had a heart attack and died. I don't think it's anything to do with Regan. Because she looks as confused as anybody about what's happened. You see she's there looking on. And as though she's thinking, it wasn't me. And he starts giggling in a sort of like, it still wasn't me, like a nervous laugh, as he's trying to resuscitate Father Merrin, but it's no good, he's dead. Hang on. And then she starts giggling. Hang on, I've gone too far. There we go. Giggling in demonic voice. But I think it's because he's just died. And, what the demon's doing. It's enough to send... Karras over the edge and he grabs hold of her, says, you son of a bitch, and grabs hold of her, basically punching a 12-year-old girl now, beating the tea out of her, and then he's saying, take me, come into me, demon, and all that stuff. He's saying that to her, and the demon does just that. And then we see that he's got this round his neck, the St. Joseph medal, and I forgot to check earlier on how long he's had that. And I meant to check and I forgot. Has he had that all through the film, or is it just for this scene? But she pulls it off him as they're struggling, and it falls to the carpet. And then he's saying, come into me. And then we see, there we go. Just saw it. His mother's face. There we go, in the window. I think that was added as well. I think that's a new thing. The light night rises, said Wingrid. Yes, it is the light night rising. Said that 5 times quickly. There we go. The demon's gone into him. He's gone Sith. He's gone Anakin. So he gets control of himself, though, quickly. And goes, no! And throws himself out the window, thusly, down the stairs. Down he goes. That's a stuntman actually did that all the way down the stairs. There's 95 steps or something like that. Down he goes. An actual stuntman did that twice. And you can see the steps. They've got padding. There's only thin padding on the steps. And he threw himself down the steps twice. What a maniac. But that's stuntmen for you. Probably means he got paid twice. I think it was twice. Might be 3 times. Anyway, so there he is. So it's the end of Father Karras, or is it? So, how does that work? Isn't the demon spirit just free to go and find somebody else? Why did it just go back into Regan? I don't know, but it doesn't. Somehow it's trapped in Father Karras. Somehow. But we hear Regan back in a normal voice, calling for her mother. Kinderman arrived. I forgot. When Father Karras went upstairs, a bell went at the door, and it was Lieutenant Kinderman arrived. So there he's looking out. Sees there you go. Lots of blood at the bottom of the stairs. Somebody, who was it now? Can't remember. Somebody asked the stuntman who did it twice, how did you not get hurt? And the stuntman just says, I forgot what he said, but essentially he's totally relaxed. He's just got to zen, I think he said. You've got to totally relax every part of your body. You just basically got to go down the stairs and you'll be fine. Mental. So anyway, so she's back to normal. Obviously still covered in scratches and stuff, but not looking quite as evil. Poor Merrin's dead. And here comes Father Dyer to his friend, Father Karras. This is the famous scene where he's giving him the last rites and asking him, do you have any do your last confession and all that. And he can't speak, so he's just squeezing his hand in response. And this is the scene that famously did quite a few times, quite a few takes, and the actor, whose name I've forgotten, O'Malley, William O'Malley, I think. Let me double check, I've forgotten. Father Dyer, where are you? William O'Malley. Couldn't quite get it right, or not to William Friedkin's liking. So, because he's not an actor, obviously he's an actor, but he's a priest first and foremost, and he couldn't quite get it right. So, on like the umpteenth take, William Friedkin said, roll camera, and then he belted William O'Malley across the face, and then said action. He said backed off, and then said action. So he he'd just been belted across the face, so he had to act it out. And he says his hand's shaking. Does it show it? As he's doing the bits here. He's saying, do you want to make confession? Here we go. Oh, they're going to show it. Hang on, I've gone too far, obviously, because I'm an idiot. Here we go. There you go. His hand's shaking there. He says, that's not acting, because he'd just been belted across the face. He says, that's just nerve juice making my hands shake, because William Friedkin, I'll do anything to get the shot, because he's mental. Anyway, as far as we know, that's the end of Father Karras. He died taking the demon with him, and then we cut to such and such later. I don't know how long. They've cleared the blood up. We see they're moving out. They're packing up and moving out. Don't know where they're moving to, but they're moving somewhere. Getting ready with their Mercedes. There you go. It's all packed up, ready to go. And we learn that Sharon's not going with them. And says, I'll miss you. He says, can't I talk you into coming? He says, no, I'm not coming. Don't blame me. I'd have gone long ago. And then it was Sharon that found the St. Joseph medal on the floor, and she gives it to Chris. And anyway, so they get ready to go. Father Dyer goes in, and Chris tells him that Regan doesn't remember anything about it. And he says, that's good. That's probably for the best. Then Regan comes out. So they're all getting ready and says, say goodbye to the father and thank you and all that. And then Regan sees his dog collar and gives him a hug and a kiss on the cheek for whatever reason. He gets in the drive off. He says goodbye to Willie. And then Chris stops the car. He says, Father Dyer, I think you should have this. And it's obviously the St. Joseph medal. And then he says, no, maybe you should keep it. So he gives it back to her. And they drive off. And then he walks down, looks up at the window where the Father Karras leapt from. And then he sees Lieutenant Kinderman going to visit. He says, you're too late, they've already gone. So All right, whatever. So then he asks him, do you like movies? And he says, yes. Well, I'm going to go see Wuthering Heights with... Oh, I can't remember who. Is he going to tell us? It's not going to land on the bloody subtitle, is it? There we go. There we go. Jackie Gleason's Heathcliff, and Lucille Ball's... Is he making it up? It must be. Anyway, so they're going to go off and watch a movie or go and have lunch at least. And there's another scene. Well, there is a scene. Another version of this shot where they walk off. They're doing like the Casablanca ending. You know, it's going to be the beginning of a wonderful friendship. But apparently the audio were knackered up, so they didn't bother with it. And that's the end of the film. There we go. Done. Father Karras is dead. Except he's not, is he? Because he comes back. Spoilers. In Exorcist 3. He comes back in Exorcist 3. He's not dead. He's in like a lunatic asylum, isn't he? In Exorcist 3. And he's still got the demon in him. As well as... I forgot the name. Gemini Killer? Something like that. Brad Dourif. That as well going on, isn't there? I'm not a big fan of Exorcist 3. To be completely honest. I think it's overrated. I know William Peter Blatty directed it. A lot of people say, oh, it's a great film. Never really, it's never appealed to me. I don't hate it or anything like that, but I don't think it's as good as people make it out to be. Anyway, so there we go. That's the end of The Exorcist. Blimey. The scariest film ever made, in my opinion. I think it's an amazing film. Well deserving of more Oscars than it actually got. William Friedkin's a mental case, but he got a good film out of it, didn't he? He's a good filmmaker. But to be honest, I've only ever seen this and French Connection. I've not seen any of his other films. So I can't comment on those, but I'm sure they're just as good. So there we go. That was Friday Night Apart with Fear, number 100. The Exorcist, an amazing film. Great acting from everybody. It's a bit... Early on in the film, with Linda Blair and Ellen Burstyn, before all the possession stuff, when they're talking about the bloody horse that she rode and all that stuff, the acting in that wasn't that good, was it? But once the film gets going, it's amazing. The possession bits start, and she's never been the same since, has she? To be completely honest, Linda Blair, she's always been a bit weird ever since. You can blame this film, but anyway, so there we go. And she were in the second one, wasn't she? But less said about that, the better. I don't hate the second one. A lot of people think it's one of the worst films ever made. I won't go that far, but it's not great, is it? And then she did the other one, was it Repossessed? Which I think I've seen once with Leslie Nielsen. A lot of people really like that. And I remember, I've seen it once, but I can't really remember if I liked it or not. Can't remember. Was it done by the Zucker brothers and Pat Proft and all them? Or was it just done in that style? I can't remember. But anyway, I'll have to have a look for it and give it another whirl. So anyway, there we go. So that's it for this week's Friday Night Apart with Fear. Thanks Win Grace and Tim Rose for popping in to the members only chat. I wish I could have got some others to come in, but I just wish you could direct a membership at a particular person, you know, like Josh Temple. Josh Temple should be here, and Josh Kanapke. But I can't just start spending lots of money just hoping gifted memberships just hit the right people. Anyway, we'll leave it there. By the way, that's the Blu-ray that I watched earlier on for this. What does it say? Extended Director's Cut, that's what we saw. So is that different to the version you've never seen? I have no idea. But anyway, good Blu-ray. 2 discs. There's the theatrical version as well on it. And there's the Mark Kermode documentary as well, Fear of God. Which is like the definitive Exorcist documentary, isn't there? Oh, The Curse of the Exorcist. I forgot. I was going to talk about that one, because much like The Omen, which was a cursed film, other stuff happened as well around this. So just bear with me. I've got to find it. Where is it? Here we go. Jason Miller's youngest son, Jordan. Hang on. Grace asks, what's your favourite possession film, this aside? I can't think of any off the top of my head. I can't think of any. Exorcism of Emily Rose. Sorry, yeah. Exorcism of Emily Rose. Yeah, I think that. So I think I might actually like Exorcism of Emily Rose better than The Exorcist. Weirdly enough, but anyway, just in a enjoying a film sort of way. I think this is a better film than Exorcism of Emily Rose, but I think I enjoy that film better. Anyway, where were we? Jason Miller's youngest son, Jordan, was struck by a motorcycle on the beach and was in critical condition for 10 days during the filming of The Exorcist. Jason Miller had to perform the emotional scene with his mother in the hospital, while Father Thomas Birmingham, who appears in the film, kept vigil by his son's side in the hospital himself throughout those 10 days. There you go. So that's one thing that happened. Then, according to Ellen Burstyn, she tallied a total of 9 deaths that were associated with the production of the film, including but not limited to actors Jack McGowan and Vasiliki Maliaros, who I think played Damien's mother, Max von Sydow's brother, Linda Blair's grandfather, the man who refrigerated the set, the night watchman, and the assistant cameraman's baby. There you go. And there was something else as well, and I forgot what it was. The set burned down. that happened. I think everybody were away for the weekend or something, and the set caught on fire. There you go. And the fella the set designer, whatever, said, "I've worked in the industry. Been a set designer for 30 years. I've never had a set burn down. Go on The Exorcist about demons and stuff like that, but this set burns down, and they never found a cause for it." They want arson. They didn't find any electrical faults or anything. It just randomly burned down. So there you go. Right, so there you go. That's the curse of The Exorcist as well. But it always happens with these films, don't they? I mean, Max von Sydow said, if you're in a film that you just film for 2 weeks, nothing will happen untoward, nobody will die or whatever. But if you're in a film that's got like hundreds of people working for it for like 224 days, some people are going to die, aren't they? But anyway, must have been all that brimstone, yes, but no treacle. Have you seen that, brimstone and treacle? Potter, not Harry Potter, the other fella, the playwright. I forgot, the Dennis Potter thing with Sting as the devil. I remember that, and I think, no, I'm thinking of something else. No, that was something else. But yeah, the one with Sting, Brimstone and Treacle. Dennis Potter's Brimstone and Treacle. Anywho, I'm waffling. So yeah, what was I saying? Yes, if you're Max von Sydow said, if you're in a production that films for 224 days and there's like hundreds of people working in it, some of them are going to die at some point. Just attrition is going to kick in, isn't it? Anyway, Wingrisk says, I don't think I have, unless it was in my youth. It was, I think, early 80s it came out, like 81 or 82 or something like that. It was on TV, it was a BBC thing, I think. It was a BBC thing. I'm going to have to look it up now. It's a weird film, anyway. I think it's a musical, I think. Brimstone and Treacle. No, 1976. Oh, crikey. I thought they made right. There was a 1976 BBC TV version, but it was made into a film released in 1982 with Sting in it, yeah, and Denham Elliott. So there we go. Right, cool. 1982. I've only seen it once. It was weird. Anyway, right, we'll leave it there. We're done, because I've been going on for 2 hours and 45 minutes. Right, so what's coming up next? I'll tell you. On Monday, for Magnificent Mondays, we're doing Chronicles of Riddick. I'm skipping Pitch Black, although I don't mind it. I don't mind Pitch Black, but you can just skip straight to Chronicles of Riddick. Although there are some characters from Pitch Black that are in this, such as Riddick and a couple of others. You don't really need to have seen it. Even the couple of characters that were in Pitch Black with Riddick, apart from Keith David, but you don't really need to have seen it. But it's a cool film. I really like Chronicles of Riddick. It's like a big blockbuster sci-fi epic which bombed at the box office, but it's still got a sequel a few years later. But I love it. I love Riddick. I think it's miles better than Pitch Black. It's miles better than Riddick, which was the third film. They're supposed to be doing another one, aren't they? But anyway, so that's on Monday. For Magnificent Mondays. And next Friday's appointment with Fear, we're doing Insidious 2. Sorry, Insidious Chapter 2. I could have swore that were red. Oh, never mind, it's yellow. I could have sworn that had a Mandela effect then. I thought it were red. So that's next Friday. We did the first Insidious quite a while ago, and I thought, sod it, I'll do the second one. It's not as good, I don't think, as the first one, but, it's not too bad. I like all the Insidious films except for the last one, which was directed by Patrick Wilson. Was it Red Door or whatever they call it? I thought it was bloody awful. Anyway, so there we go. And Windgrace has never watched a Riddick. They're all good. I like all the Riddick films, but I love Chronicles of Riddick because it's big and overblown, and Nick Chinland's great in it. Anyway, so there we go. So that's all that. So that's what's coming up. Right, so we'll leave it there. As I said, thanks Windgrace and Tim Rose, and nobody else popped in, did they? Because it's members only. I've got to keep the trolls out somehow. Right. So, thanks for watching. Don't have nightmares. And until next time, I'll say there.